Hello everyone, Connor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the hedges, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull. Hello everyone, what's crack? Welcome to Dragri Automotive Podcast by Limited Slap Differences, where we chat all things cars to cows, and tractors at times too.
It's so late. It's so late.
I'm Connor and you are?
I'm Michael. It's so late.
And we're on episode 30.
Did you have to think about that for a second?
Not really, it's just, this week it feels very weird. We're recording after
we've just had our guess.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know it's
a conversation we could have had conversation that we had there, like with them boys. I could have went on for another 4 hours, like no bother, like.
So this week, or this fortnightly podcast, we had
Owen Smyth and Andrew Morton on talking about tractor pulling. So we'll get on to that in a bit. Deadly crack, but before that we'll jump in with the normal stuff. You anything new, Connor?
Well, put it this way, because we did talk for too long, this is hopefully going to be a bit shorter than normal. Well, okay.
I have so much.
Oh,
honestly, like I have so much.
Well, you always have so much. But in regards to what's new with me, it wasn't actually that long from when we last recorded episode 29. It's really just a week.
Literally a week.
Just over a week.
Yeah. Normally it's every 2 weeks.
So we're recording this now, and it's the Monday, and we've just released episode 29 there yesterday. So in regards to what's new, I threw more slurry, get a bit more relief in the tanks, but actually spread on a field.
Oh wow.
So the Massey turned into a boat. I know, it was a dry field, and we sort of were like, we'll give it a go anyway. And to be fair, all carried well. Anywhere where the tractor was maybe sort of starting to, dig into the ground a wee bit at all. The tanker, obviously with the big tyres, rolled it in again. So no,
we've been there. We literally talked about this last year.
Well, the last time you took a tanker into a field, you had to open the gateways.
I had to do the emergency exit last time I took a tanker into a field. You can still see the remnants of that yet, like.
But no, got away all right. I can say one thing. See, whenever I was going to go down another field, but I went down a real tight lane, and then I was basically told I'll go into it. But then whenever I looked at it, was basically the entrance to the gate wasn't gutters. So I was like, no, I'll just double check, and rung anyway. And I was like, no, here, look, if it looks like that there, definitely don't even try it. So had to reverse the tanker back, and I'm not joking, there wasn't a foot either side.
Oh,
so
I'd still be there.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with Dyna 4 gearbox, but I put her down to 2A and just tootered and around. I was like, it's going to take a while, so because I didn't want to come back and be like, took a bit of a fence down or took a bit of a hedge down. But I know, so apart really from the slurry, I unfortunately was just flat out wet and essentially missed out on all the antics that you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because farming and that.
Well, so basically week went on normal enough. Then Saturday, so MX5 Parts NA, Gareth Stevenson runs it. He has been talking to us a lot on Instagram, and he's like, here lads, you need to come out for a day, you need to come out. And he got chatting to me again. He goes, here look, Shackleton's on tomorrow, come out and come with me as a passenger. And I went, do you know what, actually, fuck it, I will. And
because everything came on the line, you were
sort
going
of
up
worked
that
out.
I
was going up to Becca's home place anyway, and so she's in Derry, Shackleton's on the way. So I said to Gareth, here look, do you mind if I come up a bit later, get a few things done on the day? He goes, here, no bother, come up whenever. Landed up, and first thing I was speaking to him, and I was like, you look wild familiar. Turns out that he was a year below me at uni, and he would have been in like the same classrooms I would have been in.
I know they talk about a small world, but it amazes you how small the world really is.
Because I remember he said something, I goes, I can't, either he said something about Queens or something, or I was like, you went to Queens, didn't you? And he was like, yeah. I was like, I was like, did you do product design? He was like, yeah. He goes, I remember you. I was like, I know people. So I was like, name me someone you run about with. And he was like, Gavin Ray. I was like, yeah, I know Gavin. Gavin's a big MX5 man. I think he also listens to the podcast. So shout out to Gavin if he's listening. Anyway, so I went out then with Gareth. So all I can say is that MX5, that is cheap fun, cheap motorsport. You will have the best crack. Standard MX5 has a couple of wee things done to it. The course is 4 miles long, which is more than enough.
There's 4 miles brave of distance, like.
Yeah, and he was not feared. We were coming sideways between bales, and I was like, the first time I got 3 runs with him. He done 8 runs that day. I got 3 runs with him. And like, we were coming around, like, you're being thrown about the place. Like, you're in a proper motorsport helmet, overalls, harnessed in, everything. Like, see, even being a passenger was savage crack. Like, the first run out, because I didn't know, like, when I was videoing it, but like, I was obviously a wee bit nervous because of how tight he was getting to the bales and stuff. And see, by like the last run, I was like literally looking to see how close was he getting to the bales. You got confidence in his driving. I had the confidence in his driving, no bother. Like, and when we got sideways, I was laughing. Like, it was incredible. And
did you laugh like a little girl again?
100% high pitched. And like, I think it's like 140 pound enter. So if you, like, Gareth says what he does is, and they allow you to do this at these events, is you can basically dual enter a car. So basically you pay 2 drivers, pays. So that's what he does. He can do rental, because if he's going to the event, you can say rent the car to drive along with him. So then he'll charge you like maybe a rental fee, like, I don't know what it is, and then you go halves on tires or fuel or whatever, and then you cover your own entrance costs and just make sure you have your own suit and your own helmet and all that there. He can get that for you. And like, here, see if you want to do it, give Gareth a shout, MX5 Parts NI on Instagram. Unbelievable. Like, I will be doing it again.
See, whenever you talked about it, I'm not going to lie, I was listening to the beats on Cool FM whilst driving the tractor. I'm not going to lie, it just doesn't compare going sideways in the field in a tractor to an MX5 going around the roads, going around the course.
Was so much fun. Like, just cheap thrills. It was class. So big up to Gareth. Think I'll probably actually get him on as a guest. He's got quite an interesting story.
Oh, class, yeah.
So
definitely.
like everything he talks about, and he's an engineer, so all that side of things will appeal.
Maybe I'll not be talking that time, and
it'll probably be just me and him talking about it. But yeah, no, it's very, very interesting. So that was the Saturday. Sunday then, holy fuck. So I alluded to in the last podcast, there's a few of us met up, and I'll not get into the details too much of where we all attended, but there's a group of us all met up for a run. There's something to be said for an absolute pack of mad bastards out enjoying themselves. Fuck me, it was serious crack.
Was it like you teleported to Mexico all the time?
Aye.
Oh, just instantly?
Mexico. So the whole idea was the event was supposed to be kept quiet. Like, the people who were in the group. And my idea of this is not to be like, oh, we're a secret group, we're better than you. My idea of this is, listeners, go form your own wee secret groups. Have a small group of yous. And take my advice now. Have a small group of yous. You don't need that many boys to go out, or girls, to go out and enjoy a good day's crack. It doesn't take that many of yous. Have your own wee small groups. Don't tell people where you're going. Just go and do it. Because
some more folk, more attention.
What happened with us is people got wind, and the next thing, boys pull out cameras. Sometimes people start to get a wee bit excited, which is fine. That's dead on, and we had allowed that was going to happen. The problem is, some people can end up, best of intentions are the best to crack, throw hoops or whatever in the wrong place, and then it gets reported, and then that brings everything into kind of question. But like, I was told, basically, I was under strict instructions, basically, because I was originally going to take videos and all of it to share through this, and I was more or less told, look, here, hold back with the heat we're getting from everything, hold back. But, like, just to be there and experience it and have that fun of going out with your mates and just enjoying yourself, and you'll be at the next one. Like, just having that crack of just a small group of people that you know and trust, that you know can all drive, and you know, like, know not how to take it too far and don't push boundaries and whatnot. Like, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
So deadly crack. So that's basically, because we only recorded last week, but my weekend was absolutely incredible. Best weekend of the year.
Not gonna lie, like, all talk about FOMO, but I definitely had FOMO this weekend. Past. Now, I know I had the opportunity that I could have went on the Sunday, but just for logistics and that, it wasn't just quite working out for me. And for me, like,
here, look,
I assumed the night was going to be a late one, and the night is a very late one.
Yeah.
So, a couple hours sleep and chill out and relax, and that's more or less what I ended up doing on my Sunday, which is boring.
Here, look, you're the one, I suppose. Like, I mean, I hobby farm. Let's be quite honest. You know, yes, I still obviously have the cattle to feed and all that there, but I hobby farm. You have a farming career. Like, so I have the opportunity to go, right, I'm going to feed the cattle.
You can go away and you can do your...
I can stage my feedings that I'll feed them. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this, but I can feed them, say, Saturday. Like, I can feed them, say, Saturday at like 12 o'clock.
It's like on the ad lib feeding water there, and you can work away. Yes, for the
so
stock
I have the silage pushed onto them. I run a lock of meal over them, say at 12 o'clock, and I'm like, okay. Normally I do them every evening. Yeah. What I'll do is, but like, they'll live. They've water. They've silage. They'll be fine. I'll come back the following evening and get them. So I've allowed myself essentially 2 days freed up.
Well, there's one thing actually, I suppose, during the week, just as it comes to mind. One of the evenings, can't mind what now. We had cow coming close to the Calving. Recently enough, fitted a camera in. Now, in the past, to the start, it's like, and then forgot it was there, didn't utilise it enough, and then we got it up and going again, and I come in just, before you go to sleep, just double check and look through the camera, see if you're going out to the yard. See anybody that has a farm and calving pens, or you have any way of putting a camera in, definitely do.
100%.
I'll tell you one thing why, because so I ended up went to bed and was watching YouTube and fell asleep.
Yeah.
And hadn't looked at the camera or whatever. Woke up, I think it was 1:30, so changed and just jumped into bed. I went, oh fuck, better check the camera. So looked at the camera on the phone and went, right, fuck, that cow that we thought has now got one leg out. Oh, there's two legs out. And I don't know, I've never watched it before, but the only thing I could put it similar to was one born every minute. And I have got to say, I was in the cheering side.
Also accurate, yeah.
I was like, go on, you girl, you push her out, you can do it. Because I didn't want to fucking get out of my bed. And then it's like, anything, watched it for 10 minutes and went, no, it was going to be a continental calf. I was like, I may go out and, see what the crack is. Went out, and it's like anything, anybody with a bit of experience will know whenever the fluid or the donut, basically whenever it starts to turn brown, you know that she's been at it for a while, and you need to get them out for the best chance of living. So anyway, went out, me and the old fella, and got him sorted. But it's like anything, if we didn't have the camera, you'd have been like, oh, I hope she does well.
Yeah.
Or you maybe would have went outside, but it was just for the, you didn't have to unless you needed to.
And is that an app on your phone?
So it's like anything camera, it's hardwired to a mobile router that we have for internet in the yard.
Oh, have you, is that so into the parlour?
Basically where it is, it would
runs from the
reached.
Calving pens basically across, and it's hardwired.
It had to be hardwired because the Wi-Fi would never reach. And
So you have a separate Wi-Fi for the farm then, or is it all, do you have a booster from the house, or
we
have a separate SIM card?
What worked out well was, so I used to work and sell phones.
Yeah.
Back in the day in retail, and knew that basically from that background knew what to go for. So went in, and it essentially is just a thing that converts your phone internet to, like you say, mobile broadband. So just phone internet and your broadband out.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we get it hardwired because the Wi-Fi wouldn't have reached. Serious length of a cable, all the same.
Probably like 150 meters. Ethernet cable or
Ethernet cable,
Ethernet cable.
So it was, anyway, get it all sorted. But it's the fact of, if you had a left there, you know, obviously you're not going to, but if you had a say left there and been like, oh, you know, she should be grand in the morning time, and she had difficulty, you know, say the camera's £500 and begin to sort it at say if it's £700 all in, I have no idea what it cost.
It's a lot cheaper than that, as far as I'm aware.
Could be, I have no idea. But the price, if you save 2 calves, you save the cost of it straight away. So no, it was a very good job, and that was the other thing. The only thing was, whenever I got back and I was that fucking awake, couldn't get back to sleep again, because obviously you're going out in the middle.
You've got a bit of adrenaline through you and all too, like.
But I know, all or not, I have nothing new.
Well, I suppose one thing for the Eagle Eye viewers you may have noticed is we're both wearing hoodies.
We are.
We're
not naked.
We're not naked.
And we're not in t-shirts.
We're wearing hoodies. We've been playing about with prototypes. My hoodie's quite warm. Connor's is, I would argue, probably the nicer hoodie.
I went for a dressy style.
Yeah, whereas I went for a warmer style, which, to be fair, it is warm, but it's not as appealing looking as yours. Yours a much nicer looking hoodie than mine.
It's like anything. Whenever, like, we've been asked before about merch and when are we going to do it, and like we said, we were working on it, and it's like anything. Did a bit of research on it. You went your way, I went my way, and then it's like anything. A couple of prototypes, so they will not look like this whenever they're finished. We just literally got mock-ups done
of what we thought we wanted, and then once we got what we thought we wanted, we realised that's not what we wanted at all, and we've changed the logo slightly and stuff like that. You know, there's been a few adjustments.
It's funny, whenever you seen something on a photo on a phone,
you're like, that's deadly,
and then you see it in real life, you're like, doesn't work as well as what I thought. But all done through CPE
and GLAC, so custom printing and embroidery in GLAC. So give Adrian a shout. He's very, very great, good to work with, no faults there. So CPE, they're your number one. Speaking of other sponsors,
yes,
we've got Design Crafts with the engine table. James has obviously done us the engine table that we've now mentioned for the last few podcasts, and guess what? You're going to keep fucking hearing about them. So James, top man, we've got our lovely V8 engine table here. James can do you whatever you want. This is a more simple style, just as a cast head essentially. If you wanted, you know, a proper engine with the pistons used as legs or whatever, and a glass top, like, he can sort all that for you. So yeah, give James a shout on Design Crafts on Instagram, Facebook and X.
And possibly, if you ended up having your Mark IV and you blew the engine in it, or you done the turbo,
turn it into a shed, or turn it into a table.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. So
they or else could be a really
regular
a really lethal table.
A really lethal table. An ARL table is a really lethal table. You can have the camshaft that fucked itself up as, like, I don't know, like a light stand in the middle of it or something, who knows.
And you could have your own Patsy.
You could have your own Patsy.
turbo from all your anti-lag.
Say no.
Pops and bangs.
So anyway, without further ado, what you're going to see is me shift to this seat, Connor sit where I'm sitting.
I look slightly less cold.
Yes, and we'll have Andrew and Eoin sitting with us, and we're going to move on to the podcast. There's literally not even an introduction for this one. We just literally started talking, and that was that.
And in 3, 2, 1.
See, when you're going to do tractor pull, like, before you let the clutch up, your legs sitting like bouncing.
Oh,
like,
well,
you
believe
knew
it.
my arm was bad that day.
Oh, what? Hey, I mean, you're shaking. Like.
Adrenaline going through you, just.
Shocking.
I well believe that. I'd say that.
Alistair Cook had the best description of it.
Should
up
we
on
just
his
call
YouTube
this?
video.
This sounds like a good enough story.
I know. We're going.
And what was it? He says when they hook the chain up, you feel like the whole world's hooked onto your shoulder, sort of thing. Like you're going to like pull the whole world apart.
Pulling a sleigh, but it's different to on the pole. Like on the pole, your legs literally going like a fucking dog's nose. It's twitching all the time. But a sleigh's no too bad. Like that's the people, but the people on the pole has been just you're watching. Yeah, you're watching 10,000 eyes.
The full thing.
Yeah.
So it is. It's different, but you get some buzz from it. Like
Who needs drugs whenever you have tractor pulling?
Exactly.
you'd be cheaper doing drugs.
I would believe
You
it.
would,
actually.
you'd be
I'd
cheaper.
believe it.
But also, we've just went very momentarily into this. Yes.
That's alright. So this week we've got Eoin and Andrew on with us. Eoin Smyth and Andrew Morton.
You looked at me there as if you had forgot their names.
Probably knows our nicknames quicker than the name.
This was a bit to say, like, but so this week, this one's kind of been in the works for a while.
Yep.
Christmas time.
Frosty, anyway, we talked even longer with you, Frosty, and then when we got speaking to you, Andrew, at Kelly that time, it was like, right, he'd be a good man as well. So we sort of at the pair, he's kind of like,
He's sound.
Thanks.
it was more or less just a case. It was like, right, I think I would make for a good one. Then I was chatting to you on the phone that night,
Yep.
and I was like, right, this is some, because you've been pushing the tractor pulling even was a bit and saying about it, and then that time we went, I was like, okay, this is fucking deadly.
It's like F1 motorsport for tractors.
It is, but honestly, it is. It's class to watch.
Oh, aye, because you're like different teams. You know the way there's McLaren, Red Bull racing and all that there. Even though tractor pulling must be sponsored by Red Bull, like, but pretty much. Like you have your Fords, the PJ McGrath and Gareth McGrath and Jody. They're the Ford team. Then you have the international side, which is Andrew.
I'm a one-man band, hey. I just
And then
on my own, hey.
you have the Fates then, and that's me, Barry, and Monday, like, and then you have the John Deere side, there's Connery brothers.
That's right.
and
They're the boys with 410, aren't
yeah,
they?
Massey's would be Ryan
Even the
McMullen and
Youngs.
stuff like that.
Young's all young.
Owen's very into his tractor pulling.
That's like your F1 teams, and it's like going out to battle, more or less.
It is cool, but like, as you were saying, like kind of there just when we were starting, like the way it, like, I suppose when we start from the start, like, how did the Perrys get in the tractor pulling?
Back in 2016, me and you, mate.
Mull ahead.
I think you pulled before me, though. Or you pulled
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah. Me and Barry went to a pull one time.
No, back in 2016, I bought my first tractor, TW10, and then Mull ahead that year was whenever me and you met.
Yep.
That was Watts' sleigh that done it at that time. So that was my first time ever pulling my sleigh, like. So it was, and then you were kind of just bit by the end after that.
What made you want to go to it though? Was it just out of curiosity?
Not even. Hey, you know yourself, young boys and that, and you kind of, you spend time in tractors and stuff and whatever else. And then as a young boy growing up, you have like, I was always an old school person. Like, I always loved old stuff. Like, any like Joe Black I drove for at that time. And I think the first tractor I drove for him was a 7810 Series C Super Q. Drew story with it.
The video that Farmflex done on him was just fucking pouring for me.
That's right.
Is he the fella that puts the 7, 8, 10 up a sage pit?
Buck rakes the front.
He buck rakes for her.
It doesn't anymore. I think it's a 68 now, to be fair. Like.
Oh, sell it.
No, he still has her. Like, he still has it. He sold the 7810 that I drove at that time to a fella down in County Down, but he still has the original 7810, the one he does buck
that
rake with.
7810 had the 3.9 gauge put on and brace where the front loader would go as well, so she could take the extra weight.
No, it was hold on now. I think it was your boy Mervyn Russell and Temple Patrick built that front linkage to suit the loader brackets. So in the winter time, you set the front linkage off and then put the loader brackets on. So that was where I started my silage career, like, and then it was always Ford. Like, we had Fords at we were actually Massey oriented at home, and then I know I kind of feel sick myself. Then my dad, he bought an 8260 in 2000 or 2001.
There we go.
But she came with like 11 or 1200 hours on her. Like, she was wild fresh at the time.
That's
so she was. I know. So I think she was bought off an arable farm in England. Then Randall Nelson bought her out of England. Sorry, and then we bought her off him, and then. Like, even Stephen Clyde done a bit of slurry for us back then with 60s, and that's where my dad kind of inspired the 60 series from then. And then Jack Miller at that time had like 10 series Fords and TWs and stuff and 9700s and that, and then just following them, as a cub too, watching them lifting silage at home. So that's where kind of the blue blood came from, like. So it was, and then whenever I got my hands on my own tractor, I just, I fucking sump up whenever your tail grows sort of thing, like, and you go and you try these things. You always watch tractor pulling on YouTube and stuff. So.
For
You never pulled a tractor
Like-
sleigh in your life.
No, but what I mean is, in regards to the forward blood and that there,
Oh,
like,
I'd
my
all-
favourite tractors are 40 series and 60 series, but it was only because Quinn Brothers years ago, that's what they all used.
You grow up at that young age watching the content, and you're mesmerised by it, like, and it just kind of sticks with you. Like.
Don't like
I
Conor
don't know
Massey's
if I-
or shade.
I don't know if I agree with that statement, because the contractor that done work for us had John Deere's.
Well, nobody likes John Deere, so that's fine. That's different. But
Well, thank you. Like, I think so.
sorry,
you know,
Ryan.
I was just about to say about
Sorry,
Ryan.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And Aaron.
so like I grew up seeing like a 6400, 3650, and then when the 6810 come along, she was a brute at the time, like whatever that is, 140 horsepower, pulling a 12-ton cane, and we were like, "Fuck, boys, we don't know where we're living." 412 JCB in the pit, like rookie things in this day and age. But at the time, like we're talking 20 years ago, like,
Big plant, like.
big plant back then. But I just never, I don't know. I always just liked the New Holland. I think I just liked the colour blue. And then there's a fella like on up the road from me. He used to cut his own sails, and he had a 7810, and they had an 8360 again. This is when 8360s were fresh, same. And I remember her, and I was just like mesmerised by this thing going up the road, like.
It's the look of them. I don't know. There's nothing beats. Now I've warmed over time to the 10 series, but the cab and the 40 and the 60 series New Hollands,
See,
or even the Fords, are just deadly looking.
Oh, yeah, even the TSs and all too. But like
TS 115's nice.
I would say I would be a Ford man, but you see like a 10 series Ford, like an 8210 or 7810, I don't like them. Like I had an 8210, and it was a disaster.
Was it a Q cab or Super Q?
Super Q, Series 3 Super Q, digital lift. I bought the first TW10 I had bought, and then
Frosty's nipping into his sick Red Bull of the day.
He's not bouncing off the seat enough.
You ever see that Bobby Boucher? Tackling fuel.
oh dear, what a boy. No, that TW, True Lawrence, our farm at home will be brave and steep, like our back lanes right and steep. Before we can only work with an 1100 gallon tanker. That's
Seriously?
it. Yeah, we had the brother used to work to a fella. He had a 7720 AS Massey, and he bought a 2050 NC tanker down, and I think that concrete block at home was about a ton and a half weight, hung it on the front of her, and it was for all she was fit to do, just to get up the lane.
That's
Like.
see where Andrew loves, like the keys fall out of the ignition. It's that steep, like.
No,
Seriously, I know you're like late on the Glens Antrim, like, but
it's just the way that one part of that lane, like I can't remember the old shape of the lane, but my dad, my brother tell me about it. They reshaped it because it used to climb, and then you used to turn a corner on the hill and climb even more again.
Yikes.
Then they moved the lane across and just it's straight up now, But it's loose stone, like you can't, no matter how much you roll it or if you track the digger on it and pack it in,
You're just going to
it's
get
still going to come up. A shower rain and the whole thing's fucked. That kind of way. But even that 8260 hours at home, if you had no front weights on her, you would get 3 or 4 load of slurry on. That would be it, because your front wheels would be sitting spinning up, the loose stone. Then you're bait like.
Well, if you were
Seriously?
doing that in a TW, if you were doing that in a TW, a Ford TW, with a crash box, that'd have been some fun.
No, you just pick a gear. It's the same that 60. Like I think we could go up that hill in B4, and she's maybe hung down to 11 or 1200 RP. If you tramp her, you're going to spin. You're wanting
you
not
need
to
a
spin.
nearly
That kind of way.
But even the gearbox, like I've drove an 8700 before, and she's crash box on her.
Yeah.
And now I will admit, I can't drive my finger up my hole.
Well, see that TW20 I drew the story with her at home. Like, you just pick a gear and go for it. Like.
But it's alright going up the gears. There's another story coming down the gears, because
dead
rev
march.
matching and all
No,
that.
but
Do you ever change a crash box during a tractor pull, like pulling the sleigh?
well, I've never pulled on a tractor
Well,
pull, so.
Andrew can do that.
That was a funny
That
story.
was
now.
savage.
Are you not nearly as well without the clutch, trying to get down the gear with?
Going down the gears, absolutely. If you're going down a hill with a load on, especially if you are on the hill going down, if you put your foot in the clutch and
You're
pull
taking
out of
off.
gear, you're buggered. You're not catching the cog again. Like, you need to be changing gear on the level before going down the hill.
Aye,
That
and
kind of
just-
way. You need to. People think, it's dead handy, jump and use your clutch and whatever else. No, it's not. You need to know what you're at with them.
Even my feet would be a bit like that.
For-
She could be tight to get into the gears in the downshift.
That 8700 combined, I basically used it just to get the cattle one day, and it was the cow pad was going down a hill, and I was trying to go down the gears, and I was just crunching. I thought, fuck. And then I realised that they don't have spring gates down there in Waterford because they're too dear.
Yeah.
They just have the bit of height-hand side wire across. Well, I took it out, wait, and fucking the whole thing just skid it down because it was just flat in the brakes. So it was that day I realised I can't drive my finger up my fucking arse.
That day Owen was talking about, it was funny. I after the 8210 I had, you see, that was the other whole thing about the slur. The 8210 wasn't fit. They told the 1100 gallon tank out the back lane with a full set of weights on. She could beat it. Couldn't do it.
That's insane. You think about it. Like,
no, but you see, an 8210's a big frame of a tractor
yeah,
for all the weights.
horsepower. That's true.
You know, straight 6 at 100 and I think that one of mine was 114 horses.
They're
They're only meant to be
110.
107 or something like that. But she wasn't fit to do it. So then sold her, bought that TW20. Went them all ahead one year, and the dual part, the pin came out of the pedal in the dual part, and I had nothing else to fix it on the day, so she was stuck in low. So I think the first pull I done was like third low, and that was dead on. And I said to myself, right, second pull I'll do, I'll try her in fourth. That was dead on. Started at third low, and I thought, fucking dickhead, you know, I started in the wrong gear. And I was like, sorry, sweetheart, this is going to hurt. And I just lifted my foot off and got her into fourth and away on again. And Big Ernie was in the commentary on it, and he was, you know, shouting, yo, gear change and all this here. And I finished my pull, and Alistair Cook was standing at the end of the track, and he says, that was a lovely flick of the dual power. And I says, I didn't. He says, what do you mean? I says, that was a change from low third to low fourth. He says, you're bollocks. I says, go and drive her to EC, look at the dual power pedal, because in them a Super Q was just a black button in between your brake and your clutch pedal, whereas the Q cabs was an actual pedal as such, you know. And he got into her and went and took her a drive, and he says, how did you do that? And I says, I have no idea, but don't ask me to do it a second time, for I wouldn't be fit to. I said, I had no idea how I done it, like. So I don't, no idea.
Savage.
It was the same on the pull. Sure, I started my second pull. I started in top gear in the 14. I was like, oh fuck, and did, like literally as quick as I could from 6th to 4th and get her in it, and started to hammer her up in the half gears and stuff.
Was like the Dragri Spec, that bit of gear juggling.
Like, you had a
seen
TikTok
that.
on?
The TikTok.
See the amount of people that turn around and say to me, oh, you know, that's wild hard and that. No, it's not. You
Just
know,
giving a
If
half
you're,
gear
if
every
you're fucking
time.
good at it, you're,
exactly. It's
yeah.
not even the fact you're good. She's synchro me. She'll get hit, no problem. Like, well, there's lack of synchros in my own 14 at the minute, which is pretty
That's true.
below
Say
average.
none.
But
Say none.
there's a lack of a lot on my 14.
Out the window.
Here, no, cab and all now. Cabs off her now. Like. But no, like, you know, that TikTok I did put up, I mean, changing gears, you know, like the two hands.
That's
splitting her
coming
and
out
stuff.
from Carnina, isn't it? Or heading out yet?
Heading out past the Countryman's pub.
Yes.
Right that way.
Aye, Cushendall Road, isn't it?
Yeah, heading down that way. If I was going to, I drew, that was for Big Ryan actually, drew silage for clamp silage from Collybacky to Carnock and her. Like. So
All you could think was, that's a man who can use his hands.
the amount of people that said, oh, you know, why not just give her the full gear? And it's like, because it's easier on the tractor if you just,
Aye,
you know.
half gears.
Yeah. I didn't have her that long either. Like, I was still getting used to her and wanting to know what she was doing and stuff and whatever else. So,
So you started off the tractor pulling, and then was the 14 the first tractor you ever bought yourself?
No, that TW10 was.
Oh,
And then sold her and bought the 210. Then I done it. Like, she was probably the cleanest tractor I had, because I put new stickers on her, polished her and all, painted the rims and all. She did look smart. She really did look smart. And then discovered that she couldn't tow the tanker out the back lane. I was like, well, fuck this, there's no point in her sitting there. So then I changed her to a TW20. Loved life in her. I loved her. She was class, front line guys and on her. Great job. And then mixing Slurry with her one day, and she broke a piston. Yeah. So
I was about to say, would you not have thought maybe turbo in the 8210?
You need weight. You need weight.
I suppose that's fair enough.
You need weight to pull weight, you know, and just the hills and stuff at home. You would like a wee bit of weight, like, so you would. Like, we have a wee Fraser dung spreader at home there. I don't know what cube it is. It'll be 8 or 10, and that bullies the wee 390. Like, even the 60 and some of them hills, you can feel her, you know, pushing your arse down the hill and stuff on the turn and that. Like,
So after the TW20, then was it then? What did you move on to after it?
Well, that was kind of off-putting at the time. I bought cattle then on my own. I bought Simmental cattle, and then 2 or 3. That was when 2022, I think. The end of 2022, I got a phone call from Davy Moats. I had been friendly with Davy enough, yarning away on that about the ML tractors and that. And 1455 was always a dream tractor. Like, even driving Grassmen, you know, from then to that was kind of sparked the love for them as well. And Davy rang me one day and he says, here, boy, they might be selling the 14 here. And I was like, see you in the morning. I says, oh, no, sure, call in. No, I'll see you in the morning. So I drove that morning from my house to beside Silent Valley. He's done in that part of the world. And I got a arm and stuff and basically looked around her and drove her and that, whatever else. And they pulled out a number and I was like, no. I says, you know, the pictures I seen of her, she didn't look too bad. Whenever you got there, brakes wasn't powerful. There was the issue with 5th gear. There wasn't a single bit of interior in her at all. The heater blower was bare looking at you, like, and she was just rumbling off. And then it came down a bit, and I was like, that's fine, yeah. So a week later, she came home. So it was
Deadly.
Frosty, how did you get into it then?
Tractor pull.
Just in general, even what you start off with and everything, seeing as we've got.
Well, it's a funny story that there. Mullahead, my dad used to take us up from 2002. Now I was 6 at the time, and I was on the other side of the fence watching the tractor pulling, and I was just gripped by it then. You know, every year we went up without fail, watching it, and any tractor
Linton's,
pull.
I think, used to do a video of Mullahead as well, and
That's
I remember
right.
I used to
And
get it
then,
as well.
It was a tape then, it wasn't the DVD.
It was a tape.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a tape, and I remember I used to buy the tapes from Mullahead because it was great to watch.
And then came up to a pull close to us then was 2012. Barry was pulling in Drumahole at that time with a 180/90, and we just recently at that time we had our 190 feet at the time.
Do you still? Is that the one you still have now?
Yeah,
Yes.
Bats at the minute getting
Aye.
restored. There's like 3,000 hours on it, so she will be 4 brand new Kleber tires, new interior.
Surprised you're not going for Michelin's.
I know.
You didn't know
You'll get another free hat.
the hat off right now before you started this.
I still have the what do you call it? What is it? That wee thing there.
Lanyard.
Lanyard and stuff.
God, they were good to you.
They
hey?
were good. Jesus, they were good.
James.
It's a dear lanyard.
James from JB now, a lot of time for him. If you build a good relationship with someone, it means a lot.
Oh, 100%.
But met Barry at that tractor pull in 2012, and I hooked and fates, you know. And Barry, there's a van at the end of the Ernie and all them boys can prove it and tell you it's true. There's a van at the end of the track, and Barry was against these fence and whatnot, all these new fancy tractors, and here he comes with a 180/90, and she was down in Perth at that time, but he took the sleigh from the pole mark to the see the van at the far end of the track. He nearly put the front weights to the tractor and to the van side door. Couldn't get a tractor on to pull it back or push it back, so Barry pushed it up the track again as well with a 180/90, and I was just like, this is deadly. So anyway, fast forward 4 more years, I got built up a friendship with Barry during it, you know, through Facebook and stuff like that there, and next thing there's a tractor pull in Lumvady, and
This is 2016.
2016, my first tractor pull, and the Sammy Silver 130, the one that Niall drives the tractor pulls now, and my first pull, a friend of mine sat on beside me, and I was useless, literally shite. And then Barry jumped on beside me and picked a different gear. Sealed up the track in the Sammy, not aboard here, so I did furthest pull that day, but my second pull just failed me because they counted 2 the pulls up to get your total. So that sort of let me down.
So if you've got like 50 and 100 and it
But-
works out 75.
I think it's maybe just Barry sitting in the mudyard of the tractor. Definitely
Extra
helped me.
weight, aye.
So it is. And then after that, we went to Mullahead, me and Barry together. My dad drove the Scania lorry and 2 tractors up. Met Andrew and was pulling up there for a couple of years, wasn't it, more or less?
When was it? Mullahead was last on in 19, I think it was.
Was
Aye,
Mullahead the only tractor pulling thing? I know you said about Limavady, but was Mullahead only?
Mullahead was the biggest one because of the player match. You know, it always was. It
right.
was the biggest player match up here. But sure, they used to have like a wee show. There would have been like Burks would have had stands at it and stuff. There would have been a wee bit of machinery about it. Sure, there's nothing there. It's not even a player match anymore.
No.
I don't think there's anything there now.
No, I
No,
don't
there it
think
doesn't exist.
No, after COVID, it all stopped. I was actually, I think, was it cancelled in 2019? It was that wet. There was 1 year it was cancelled. So it was, and then 2020 COVID hit.
19, I'm near sure was a wet year, and then it
I
came
think
in
it was cancelled.
because COVID came in, and then everybody was talking about the great weather.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Then we got Pomeroy.
That was mighty. Aye.
That's
Jeez,
a big show.
It was class.
So it is.
The night pulling.
When's
Yeah.
Pomeroy then?
It was it September the first year it was on?
Yep.
Does it still be on?
They do a night pull the night before
Oh,
under
that'd be cool.
lights.
That'd be
And
cool.
That's class.
It was.
So it is.
Yeah, beer tent and all. That first year, he was mighty. See, on the Saturday evening, like I think the last pull we done was maybe at like 2:30, 2:45 in the morning.
Does
Yeah.
this still happen?
No, it was cancelled the last time because of the wet weather. Or
It
this
was
year
a
they done
Halloween pull, wasn't
Halloween pull.
Do you think
yeah.
it could be on this year?
It
I love
was-
that
well, it was
nighttime
po- it was
pull.
You could drive.
It was postponed at Halloween time, and then they never gave us another date. It was on in June before that, like last June, and then the first year was the previous September then. So it was.
If it's anything like the car shows, like 2022, we went to a show in September because it was so wet in September. They then changed it to July, and then this year July was a washout. So it wouldn't have mattered about it. The weather's
Yeah.
fucked regardless. Like
But that time in July, that time or June, was it that tractor pull in Pomeroy? Mind the wild warm weather.
That was, it was a
was-
scorchy, like.
anyway, we might get talking about this night pull yet.
Hopefully the tin isn't too loud.
Shouldn't be too bad. You will hear about a ton in the background. You will hear it bitten.
We're sort
that
of,
much.
I drive a Fiat and he drives a 1455, so we're used to tin work sort of shaking.
I see him, but like
I'm used to tin work falling off and windows falling out.
Fiat, well, it's renowned for tin falling off.
there would be. Yes, there would be.
You should have a motorcycle helmet on whenever you're doing tractor
That's
pulling.
weight reduction. You're wondering how a Fiat goes up a hill very quick.
Ross is
for,
later than carbon fibre. Isn't that the saying?
For I come in years ago, Quinn's had an old Marshall D944 D110. She's basically a stayer, and the front window used to open, but whatever way it broke, and he was still drawing sideways, but he had a motorcycle helmet on because around mine is lock flies, so you had them wee bastards like wee bullets at you.
Could you just imagine someone coming down the
And he
road in a
was- he
tractor
came
or a
round the
motorbike
motorcycle.
helmet? I didn't know.
You see that dyno day at Mackay's. I drove her from Garage Yard over to it, hey, and during the day it was cool enough. I think it was at October time. It was the tail end of last year anyway. Sometime I can't even just mind when it was, but I was cold going till it. On the way home, I was fucking foundered.
I
was
believe it.
down through Ballymena by the police station and all, and the 14 just roaring away, hey, and the wind would have fucking cut you in two. It was fucking awful. I was shivering. So it was bad.
And was that Ballymena and you drove Caperlet the whole way on then to Larne?
No, I took her over to Garage Yard.
Oh,
again.
over they are.
I'm keen, but I'm not that keen. Like. So
Say that's
Even threw a bit of perspex in or something to do right, like.
Well, I didn't
No.
really have the time. See, the whole thing was whenever that window broke, I said to your man that came out to look at the window to see what had actually happened, and the theory was like me and Gareth was tushing about in the shade that day, and his young boy was there with one of his friends, and we had actually thought maybe we had walked past the tractor in the morning time, nothing, everything was fine, and then seen the window all frosted, but it looked as if it had been pushed out, and we sort of thought maybe Wayne's had kicked the ball or something, but they couldn't have done because the back window was shut. So then we looked on the camera and the CCTV in the shade, scrolled back, and literally you just see the window bang, implode it. So it does. I don't know whether if there was a bit of rust behind it or the cab dropped slightly. That was your man's theory. Apparently the cab had dropped and a slight wee twist in it with the pressure pushed it out.
I've
yes.
seen videos of that before. Boys, like say with the cars, have like tried to turn like maybe 4-door saloons into coupes, and they've come out the road and they've had a small bump, and it's just been enough to smash a windscreen. So maybe that could be reading off.
We had a slope nose Massey, and funny, the brother was drawing slurry, and he said he just hit a bump in the road, and the corner post window, the way they're curved, just blew out. And he was like, I have no fucking idea why that happened.
I would say it's probably the fact that Jared was trying to do 150 mile an hour in a tractor is capable of doing 24.
Well, maybe.
Something to do with it.
His brothers are a good pilot, but there's no mechanical something given there. Like
No. To make tractor go harder, he put the PTO on to give her a boost while
I'm sure that's what half
transport.
the boys in the country are doing.
I think it works on some of them. Some of them it doesn't
John
work.
Deere's meant to be.
John Deere's
And
doesn't
then-
work.
Is it not? I
No,
thought
for you see, I think there's the likes of them dyno, they don't bring a laptop with them. The likes of Brian Horner and that would plug a laptop in to get them to boost on the dyno. I think New Holland might do it, or some of them do it and some of them don't. It's a load of bollocks is what it is.
New Holland.
You think you go and buy like a 200, you can't buy, you can buy a 200 horsepower tractor, but it's normally 160 horse or 150 horse boosting they want down there. Why not have that there all the time? But a tractor can't see the fucking hill coming a mile up the road
Until
or
your
whatever.
top gear, it's either high revs or top gear. Some once you're like gear 16 up or something. With New Hollands, it's like
16 they start boosting in part of the land. Yeah,
there's ways and means to change that.
Well, like
obviously,
I've drove a case before, and all you seen was as soon as you got a bit of a pull, it was just the EPM light was on.
yeah.
but like I know, but the whole idea around that's just emissions. Like that's just to try and make things
Please the tree huggers of the world.
Yes.
But without being a prick again, so Owen, you went to Pomeroy then, or it was 2019?
Yep, 2019, and then the year after it, we had the big one in the summer mine with the heat. That one in 2019 now, the Sunday after it was just a washout, but they had to go ahead with it. Like,
Fuck, that was awful.
it's just a spinning match.
No, it rained that heavy. Like I remember going up the track in Garth 14 at that time, and literally Aaron Connery was sitting in the 8-4 at the side of the track.
Yes.
And the hole you had to like drive down into to get to the sleigh, you could have stood on the ground and lifted your foot and like stepped across onto the mudguard of the 14. You were that deep in a hole. So you were. No, I spent a couple of hours that morning with a dozer trying to clear it and stuff and whatever else. Like,
And just didn't.
Well,
No.
just on a wee side note, see if you do get a serious warm day, I know with cars you notice a difference, but see with the intake temperatures and all in the tractor, do you notice much of a difference in the likes of tractor pulling?
it's only a wee short burst. Like, we're not out cutting silage.
So
away
you're not
and-
rotovating.
No, we're not rotovating.
At night time, you would notice a difference. A tractor.
The tractors
colder
are
air.
on a lot nicer at night time.
Yeah.
Colder air.
Yeah, denser air too.
That's why
So
a lot
like
of
the-
boys would have intercoolers and tractors and stuff now to fire coil air into them.
So even there's James Smith with the
Yeah.
spray bottle on her, like. No, I mean the 1255 with the 956 cab on the pole.
Yes.
He-
And did I see that also at
Ballachelly.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one,
I think I
yeah.
have a video of it.
He had
It's a pure Frankenstein looking thing.
he had an or a spray bottle, like a window wiper washer, motor and stuff on it with a spray nozzle on it, and he had it filled with ice before on the pole, and he was fit to start at the bottom of the line and flick the switch, and she was spraying the cold water in the intercooler. Like. So it was. That's even
Ways
like
and means.
them pro pulling boys. I wouldn't be that mechanically minded, but you see them with bags of ice out and stuff. Even like,
They put them under the
they
radiator.
have
and
even
stuff,
diesel coolers, like the cooling the diesel as well. Like. So they have some of them.
It's
do.
like F1 motorsport, I'm telling you. It is competitive and
You do.
unreal.
You say
I
you
would
don't
say
get
it's very-
competitive, but
Aye,
you
but
do.
I would say it's very, very easy. So like,
When did you buy the F130 then?
That was before that. That was 2019, I think it was. But like, I knew the tractor years before that. For
And
you
so
worked
you
with
worked
it
there?
I was working with her for 7-8 years before that at the farm, like since I was 15 and 16, like, because that farm where we were tractor pulling at that day, that's just beside my granny's, and I always was down to my granny's, and you used to see them F-series going up this big brae and just the roar of them, and I was just like, I want that tractor. And my granddad at that time was like, you'll get that someday, and got my work experience from school was on the farm carting spuds. Like, I was loving life. Like, you imagine 16 F130 big dirty straight pipe on her rig,
unreal.
her 8 boxes of spuds on going out of a field, like sailing through towns and villages and all these school ones, and I'm like, I'm school, but I'm sailing past in the tractor, hello. And
Fuck, born up, F130.
You probably thought you were the boy.
at the middle of November, and me with the sunroof lying wide open, hey, and like that morning you had to scrape the ice off the window, like, and I just
From
like,
the inside.
Here, this bugger, right, has had a fucking 11090. How long?
Matthew Warnock's fixing it.
And
It's
I have
fine.
been at him every year. It's like the one thing that's wrong with your tractor, sir, is there's no sunroof that works.
Aye,
Because
they wrote it.
still, even at that, try and fucking hold it open with something. But sorry, Frosty,
you
go
could
ahead.
like just put a bottle on it or something, like, or
I
just
know,
jam it up in the
that's
timber
what-
and
even
stuff.
whenever you see like all the tractor runs there, and I was parked up beside 2 other 110s at Kilray and then after,
Yeah.
and they both have the sunroofs, and it's just like, it needs it. Like, it's like twin beacons. It's just one of them things you need.
It's just getting the noise on around you. Like, you imagine Red Bull in your hand, sunroof open.
Mine's just like a standard straight diesel, like, you know, no turbo. But see the snort off mine coming up a hill and
I
high fit.
hear
It's
3
the same-
parishes
anything
away.
6
Like,
cylinders like that, but a 6-cylinder non-turbo will sound louder and gruntier than a turbo
The,
one.
turbo sort of kills
turbo's
it.
literally a silencer.
Yeah.
yep.
But mine, see, like
The war
coming up
whistle.
a big hill, like she just send a big flame out of her as well. Like she'll flame for the crack. Like,
We're sort of like, we have turbos on there, and then we tune them up, but the flame's still coming out of them.
see the 14 Jenna, I remember lifting her after she got the engine rebuilt and driving around the road, and she always done it. Even if she was warm or cold, if you trumped her on the pole with nothing on, just a level road, that peak, she'll put out a wee tiny flame just by
even in
herself.
peak, mine needs to hit a hill. Not much of a hill.
No, you could do mine. You could do the 14 on a level road.
Seriously,
Genuinely.
is 130 the same?
Mm-hmm. I have a video on the dyno too, a boy lighting a cigarette off the turbo.
You having a straight pipe on yours though?
No, not yet. I
You have a
wouldn't
silencer?
straight pipe without a turbo.
I need a war whistle on her, like. So
Oh, 100%. I'm gonna put the same one you're gonna.
So then you were 16, you drove the F130, you were horned to the stones. And then
and literally the farm manager came up and says, because I said to the farm manager, if that tractor's ever up for sale, I want to buy it. Like all 3 of them at that time. And that'll let him know a couple of years later, the tractor came up for sale. And I got first refusal on it. Tommy rang me and goes, here, come on down, this tractor's for sale. And that was, hey, as sure as my hair's falling out, like it is,
Mine's
I had to get it.
definitely
So I did. And then after that there, Andrew, you texted me over Facebook, wasn't it, about Dragri Spec?
That's right.
So Dragri Spec was what?
It was the way Grassmen would do, like, their 12 videos at Christmas.
Yes.
You know, that's where he came up with the idea, just the 2 tractors head to head in the quarry with a load on.
Was
you know.
that Clanty Quarry?
No, that was Robinson's. That was the place I worked. Or it's now Breeden, but that was Robinson's at that time. That was done over 2 Saturdays, I think.
Is it up
Yep.
at Glenwarry direction?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that was done over the period of 2 Saturdays, just because of daylight and stuff, you know. And I just asked what boys between that Gareth had fell under that, like Honeyford was there, and a few like Cook, he came up too, and
As we call the famous faces.
Just
the kind of
people you know.
people that
Fan favourites.
Yeah, people that Gareth fell under, and then just kind of iconic tractors as well that people would have wanted to see too. So we done that for Christmas time, and then that was really the height of it. That was a sad day now.
That's when I got
I was cross. Or not even much point of denying it. I was raging it. So,
that was when I got my first set of Michelins in the field. So I did.
Well, did you tinker the tractor much between buying it and Dragri Spec?
See, they already were screwed a wee touch, like they were sitting around 140, 150 horse. And Matthew and Wesley, it's fixing your tractor. I was like, Andrew texts me and he's telling me about what the horsepower the 14 was, and he's like 180 something. And I was like, oh Lord, I need the Vaseline for this because I'm going to get shafted. Like, literally going to get my ass handed to me in front of the Grassmen video. So I rang Wesley up and I says, I need this thing eating stuff, like I need her tuned. I was like, right, sure, we'll take her out to Fulton's Dyno, local tractor dealer beside me. And we stuck her in the dyno, and Wesley's like, right, I'll give her a tune here, stuck her in the dyno. And Wesley didn't even go to this is the funny thing, didn't even go to the dyno. He went to the front of the tractor and was just listening to it. And I goes, she's about 160 something there now, 163. Sure enough, when I was standing beside him, I says, you know what, I'm going to check this out because this is sort of freaky stuff. And I went to dyno, there she was, just sitting at 163, or at it. He's like, that should do you alright there. So it did. And I just had the new Michelin's on her.
Not better about it at all.
New Michelin's on her that day. Yes. And what do you call it? Then
Gary, you came down and lifted the
180.
that's right, on your F-130.
Yep. And I says, fuck it, I'll take the weights with me just in case. And then I got up to the quarry and my dad was ringing me like nearly every 5 minutes. So he was. And he says, well, you might need to take them weights off. Less weight, more freight sort of thing. And make the tractor lighter. I was like, dead on, that'll do. So I took about 500 kilograms off the front there, up against Andrew. Now, you talk about shitting it. I mean, Andrew saying he was 180 horse, and I was sitting there like, my legs, it was as if they were just in a bouncy ball. My legs were sitting like this here, so they were. My hands were shaking. And up against him,
Your voice is starting to shake now as you're telling the story.
I'm just thinking of how
the adrenaline's
scared
coming
I
back,
was.
That's the sick thing.
I feel like I'm feeling like it's either it's a lack of Red Bull or did he have too much Red Bull that morning?
Probably because it's that far over there, and I need it on a drip, like you know. And up against Andrew, and then we all know how that went down. It was
Well, all I can say is you went over the finish line and the passion and whatever you showed were winning. I mean, you nearly jumped it, you said.
They couldn't have showed my reaction, like. They couldn't have. I think it was a matter of, for fuck's sake. You do get thick, but right, that's the thing. But you compare them two tractors. There's about 20 horse of difference in them, 25 horse of difference in them, and about maybe 2.5 ton of weight. And then you take into consideration the bigger rims and stuff.
Yes.
All them wee things factor in, like.
Well, like the slope nose I was talking about, we had with the window blown out on it.
Mm-hmm.
So she was meant to be 130 horse.
Yes.
But she had to have been tweaked a wee bit.
so's my fate. She's only meant to be 100.
And we've so the big frame 4-cylinder now, Massey.
Mm-hmm.
And before she got mapped, I would have said the other one would have ate her, but it's per the weight, as you say.
Yeah.
All
All them things you need, the likes of on the pull or even that Dragri Spec at that time. Like me and Gareth talked about it, and we were going to lift the weights off the 14 and the 3690 and that, but they were all nicely freshly painted, and you didn't want to chip them either, especially for them being show tractors. Like,
But then it was a good way of showing people here per the weight ratio, and the how big a contribution that is to pulling a load up a bray, like.
well, they actually done it. Barry come up that day and he went against Gareth 3690. And the first Saturday,
He had the weights all on.
and the 3690 walked over the top of her. Second time, they took 800 kilos off the front of her. Different animal.
But I mean, like in regards to tractor pulling, or if you were doing on the pull, with it being on grass and on like fucking ground instead of stone, maybe different.
Yes and
For
no,
grip-
but
for grip wise?
for grip wise, yes. Well, you see, realistically, I know back whenever I done on the pull, with the 14, if it was me, if I had good enough tyres in the front, and if my brakes was sharp, I would have took the weights off, and I would have side brake round the bars, because it's like 500 or 600 kilos less you're having to push up the hill.
Yes.
You know, and then on the quarry you didn't need it, because we were only stopping at the top, you know, just to see what the two tractors were going to do. You know, we weren't putting on a show for a crowd or nothing, for it was kind of closed, you know, that kind of way. So you weren't really concerned about that. But like the likes of conventional tractor pulling with a sleigh, you need weight to pull weight. Like
I see you're saying you need weight to pull weight, which is fine. But then I suppose you get the weight for the better pull, but you do it slower. Is that basically what? Because it's kind of counterintuitive what you're saying. Like you're saying you take the weights off, you'll pull faster, you'll pull better. Then you're saying you need
the hill with the load, yeah.
But then you're saying, like for instance, like your tractor would have been too light, like the 210.
That's right.
Would have been too light. You know, so you
just depends on your surface too. And your
you need
job.
more weight.
Depends on a lot of things, like, you know. So it does. You know, you see, I did to go tractor pull, and you would need probably a ton of extra weights with you and 2 or 3 different sets of tyres, literally. Like there's Alistair Cook, for example. You have them now. So,
it's like F1, as I say. You have your dry wheeler tyres and your wet wheeler tyres.
But there's Big Blue, for example, that weekend at Pomeroy and at night time, because the track was that dry and he had very little tread at that time. I mean, tyres could have been 25-30%, you know. It was more friction than actual grip, whereas as soon as a shower of rain came, he had a set of skis, you know what I mean. It's horses for courses, you know. It's either hot or cold, or it's one or the other. Like, you know, you're never going to have it your way all the time.
What would be the best surface to pull on?
The tractor pulling?
Aye.
Oh, hard. You'd want it hard. Like,
properly hard.
Yeah. You'd want it hard. Like, you watch them boys in Germany and Holland, it's all hard and indoors and little tread, you know. So
right enough.
Or even, you watch even them modified boys, you know, tyres.
I love that
men take a grind,
match.
you know, men take a grinder, tell them, and groove in fucking treads, tell them and stuff, like, you know.
They nearly look like big truck tyres.
Yeah, but it's a speed, but they can pick up that much speed, you see. It's friction. Well, that's my theory. I could be wrong, like, but that's the way I would see it, like.
It's
So you know, there's no real bite.
it's stickiness rather than bite.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Tractor pulling's so funny. Hey, there's a fine line on it. Like there could be tyres, could be weight. You could put a weight in the front and 2 weights in the back, or put 2 weights in the front and 1 weight in the back, and it could make all the difference. Like there's millimeters in this. Like there is poles where it is.
aye.
Like even the hitch height and stuff like that there, like you think about all like
there's rules for that too. 500 mil. That's it.
And you get men that kind of go past the rules because they're feared of a tractor and stuff,
So,
and have no faith in their
See, in
own.
regards to tractor pulling, what way are classes gauged then? Is it weight wise?
Weight of the tractor.
Weight of the tractor.
and settings of the sleigh. So as
You have your different classes. Like you have your 5.5 ton, 7.5 ton. Then you've gone up onto the big boys class where it's 9.5 ton, 11.5 ton. You know.
Is there any variation in regards to, like, is there any rules for tyre width?
if you look into, there actually is. I think Mullahead had rules. It was either Mullahead or the ITPC, the Irish Tractor Pulling Committee, which would be like Noel Watt and all them ones. I think they had set up rules at that time. There is, if you look into it, there is, even in Europe, you know, that's the thing. Watt's sleigh was set up like what is it?
European tractor rules.
The very one. She's a European spec, so he could go to the likes of Holland and Germany and pull her, whereas Barry's he couldn't. But Barry's would be more cracked just for the likes of over here and going to England and stuff, you know, for farm tractor. I don't know about you, but anytime we go to a tractor pull, like, I don't really watch the modified stuff because I have no interest in it whatsoever. I'd rather see a man come in like in an 165 Massey or something, you know, pull the big sleigh or whatever. Like.
Far more fun way, you know, your modern classics like your
the average Joe sort of
noise.
Think about it, us four boys here, you'd silage. Would you rather drive a washing machine like one of them new tractors, or would you rather drive something with black smoke?
Oh, give me a TM155.
It's not driving, but that new crack, it's not. Like, you sit and you push a joystick forward, like, that's it.
Varios for boys, and then like a 180/90s for men. You know,
like
and a
1455. Like, you count that gear juggling. That's the sort of stuff you like.
That's handy. A TW will test men from the boys, like a crash box, anything with a crash box on it.
I'm still a boy,
I'm still in fucking nappies.
You ever drive a Muirhill?
I've never. I've
moved the Muirhill from here to there.
Funny, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but when I was at Queen's, done a work placement, and it was down in Waterford that far, and I had the 8700.
Yeah.
But they had a classic Silage Day, but it was all Muir Hills. So it was Mount Melleray.
I think I've seen that on YouTube.
Vintage Silage Day. So there was maybe 15 Muir Hills down at it, or more or less, something along them lines. And what ones had like 3655s at it, old John Deere's, so your 50 series, your 40 series, old New Hollands and that, and even like, you know, everything from double chops and that. See, before that, I'd never seen a Muir Hill in my life.
First Muir Hill I ever did was actually at that Pomeroy in 2019. Cook gave me a run in the 141. They just tear away, my dad's way home, sure, pull arm full of crack. Dead on, no bother. He says, it's a crash box the same as a Ford. 100%, get in, tell her, start her. But the dual power rather than it being in a pedal, that was in a handle below the steering wheel. But anyway, went, put her into first, dead on. I went to put her into second, which in a Ford is directly below 1. And she nearly stalled. Now, what the fuck? Like, tried it again, nearly stalled again. I said, what the fuck is the crack here? Got the torch out in the phone, it was dark, like, and there was hardly any light in her at all, you know. Torch out in the phone, looked round. The gearbox and a Muir Hill and a crash box and a Ford, second and third swap round. So you have first in a Ford, second, third, and then fourth.
Hitch pattern, basically.
Yeah, and then first, second, third is beside 1, and then fourth is beside 3, and then reverse is below 4. That kind of way.
And a Ford?
Right? Yes. But the Muir Hill is 1, and then 2's beside 1, 3 is below 1, and then fourth is on over.
So Ford 1, 2, 3, and then over to 4.
Yeah.
And then reverse is down there.
Reverse is in the same place, but 2 and 3 is swapped round on them.
How does that logically make sense?
No idea.
It's like you're fucking married. Jesus Christ. It's,
my
neutral
loader.
4, 3, 2, 1. So you go straight at the top gear, and you're like, fuck.
My loader, it's whenever you're trying to like edge her, like she flick her up, and it's like neutral, third, second, first. So if you're like trying to edge her forward, you actually have to push the lever the full way up to the top, and you're standing on the brakes. Otherwise, she'll just drive you forward, and whenever you've no brakes and the idle decides to set itself at 1200 RPM. It's quite. It's a bit.
Jump me a bit.
You
Those
can't really
sticks
do
were
much.
tidally set there on that pallet.
She's 100% now. She's 100% now. I've done the brakes on her, and I've went and fettled with her to make sure that she doesn't. The throttle now just doesn't stick open on her anymore, which is what was happening on her. And I remember me and him trying to get in her, and I was like literally leaning on the brakes. She just kept trying to doze herself forward. She was so jittery. I was like, But no, Muir Hills. I think Muir Hills. Were Muir Hills not wild, man, for dumpers? Like, see, back in like the 80s and the 70s, and even the early 90s.
Muir Hill made dumpers.
Were they not the tractors boys were using for dumpers, because they were very, very good at heavy haulage?
You not even heavy haulage. It was grip. You go back to like say 80s or 90s or whatever. Your local drainage contractor, I would say, would have had a Muir Hill.
Aye.
Like Stephen McKee beside us had Muir Hills. Campbell Tweed actually, another farmer. He has a Muir Hill too, still, and he still works here, to be fair. Cook, there a lot of boys did have them because of the grip, and the four wheels the same size, but they were far handier steered than a county.
Yes.
Oh.
It would surprise you the look. I was that night at Pomeroy driving Cook's one. That would surprise you the look on her. You sort of think, everybody said, the look on them was terrible. No worse than a TW.
Is the rim size any different than a county?
It depends what size I think you would go to.
The only thing I can think of is unless the tyres are skinnier or the.
I think the 1884 would be on 38s or something like that.
Yeah.
That big county. And then
It's the biggest one, isn't it?
Aye, yeah. And then the 141, I think, would she be on like 34s, I think.
For it would slightly make them more nimble, technically.
Probably would, to be fair. So you'd need to compare it to like what's that other one that Cook has? Is it an 1154, I think? The wee Franklin county he has would be kind of similar to the 141 maybe.
An 1164 or something.
Aye, something by that size. You need to compare the two of them, like. So, but no, it would surprise you the turning circle on them. They're actually pretty nimble. So
you said Andrew the 1455 was a dream tractor. Why was she a dream tractor for you?
Don't know. I generally don't know. It's one of them ones where you look at it and you sort of, you have the 14, ideally a TW35. Back then, as a cub, was the dream tractor. Like, if I could get a 30 now, a Q cab 30, I would have over a 35. Like.
See, I never liked them. I didn't like the long nose. My favourite, the TWs, is a 15.
Me and another fella had this conversation there not that long ago. We were chatting about it as well, and just about different tractors ticking different boxes. Like, he was saying, like John Deere's, like for example, like the 3650, he doesn't like them at all, and I wouldn't have any great attraction for them.
I like a 3650.
But the likes of a 4240, John Deere, you know, I wouldn't be up on them. But you see, that would do it for me. I love the long nose in the TW, whereas he doesn't. You know, that kind of way.
I think I'd be inclined to agree with your mate
Well,
there. I'm not a fan of the long
Out of
nose.
curiosity, then, your 8630 Ford compared to your 35 or TW35.
You need to go to an 8830.
What was the reason, do you think, then, for the two different ranges? Because is it just two different gearboxes?
Your 8630, 8730 and 8830 was the same as your TW 15, 25 and 35. The early 30 series there was no differences, I don't think, at all. There maybe was wee bits and pieces, but mainly the black grills and the black mudguards. The early 30 series did come with a crash box. Like Johnny Neal's 8630, she's a genuine dual power. So was Aaron Clark's and Darcy Clark's. They're a genuine dual power.
Were they after the TWs then?
Yeah.
So they were the successor then?
They were the
Oh, right.
successor to the TWs.
And then they brought in the whole power shift thing then too. They started it.
Just speaking of the Clarks and Johnny Neal, what about that on the pole? That was
Good bit of steering,
unbelievable.
Good bit of
That
See,
steering.
that sort of hyped it up for the day.
That
That was the first good pole.
It was
I
like
said-
a warm-up act, like there's more to come here, and then it just got better as the day went on.
I remember Stanis chatting to John. I remember saying like that's the run that basically got everybody on their feet.
But you see, for a young fella, Darcy knows her.
Oh,
Darcy can
he
drive.
could steer. Come on,
Darcy
Aaron.
can drive. Like
But Emmett Sherry would be friendly with them boys, and we'd know Emmett, and Emmett was like, they're just fearless.
aye.
He says, Emma was like saying, he goes, you put the young boys on the 8.2 or the 7.8, he says, like, double bail lifters, her lifting the nose.
Yeah.
No bar. Don't care.
But there's not, like, what age is Darcy? 16, 17? You know, even at that age, even go back there. There's my nephew. Like, he would be the same. He loves that older plant. Like, and like, he's 13. And see, for a young lad that can throw gears and like that 14 or that Fate that I have or anything kind of stick in it, I would never tell it to him to his face, but fuck, he can't. He is good at
They're
it.
sort of similar to Niall.
He'll tell you, like,
Aye.
you know, sure, Ballykelly tractor pull Matthew beat me in the 14
Yep.
in the 9.5 ton class. Oh shit, you not? He did, like. So I did. Oh, he is a good wee pilot, like. So
Like
it
Niall
is.
beating me at Pomeroy. Like I don't like bumming him up, but they done me good. Like
Silence at dinner tables over that, so there was.
it's more like fork in the hand.
Well, what's one of like the biggest grudges you've ever seen at a tractor pull? Oh, like, you know, like what have you ever seen anything properly, like boys falling out? Like, because you say
We did hear in that group chat at the last poll, like.
you talk about then it's not that competitive, and then you're sitting going, how long?
That's wild fun.
What's his hit shot? How many wins has he got?
You do, but you do
Naturally,
say
you would. I
know,
would do the same. Like,
Aye, but it's very competitive on the day, and you know, but it's like a big family.
Aye.
Like you all like hug and kiss after it, and everything's good.
No,
We're not-
I can't.
We're not gay, like. But
I can't. I'm still thick with that. Like, so
I was like me and PJ because that's why that time at Pomeroy.
Well, I would say you would have stubble rash after that.
Your man PJ with the 7810.
PJ McGrath.
Yes, a good friend of mine.
Yes.
And we were pulling at that Pomeroy thing, and he bit me, and that just was like, oh, I have to bit that thing. I have to.
I think
bit
it's
that thing.
184 horsepower,
And then,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's a pull up at Rathryland, and I bit him by a metre. And I think there was a video, wasn't it, of him pulling and her spinning out, and me just roaring from the fate cab. Cause
I mean, I was standing that day. I videoed every pull, but I stood where PJ got to, and I where the front of the sleigh was. I literally stood and I never moved. And then you came up, and I think it was maybe 10 feet or so. It wasn't that much in it, but he got further, and I let a big cheer out of me, and he started to fucking cheer then too. Like,
So the whole
Yep.
polling thing is basically a massive family.
But then me and PJ,
Anyway.
like, we ring each other, I'd say once a week,
Aye.
and just chat shite for an
Like,
hour.
I think it's fair to say, well, the ones in that group chat were in, like, we would all be very friendly in that, you know. Yes, you have the bit of a compare, like Garth McGrath turboed that TW25 or put a bigger turbo on her, and she's doing colossal power. What is she, like 226? I think she dynoed
He is
that.
that the HX. He put a big HX40 on it, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
I
Something
think
like that,
at
anyway.
Ballykelly, you said to me, you were like, "Here, go look at this thing. He's just put a big turbo."
Yeah.
on. But she didn't perform.
No, she didn't.
She didn't perform.
As I
and-
say, there's a fine line.
There's something I don't know, was it a clutch or the jail? But something was slipping that day, and I was got it for him. Like again, the whole competitive thing. You say you're not. Well, I screwed the 14 the night before that, just because I knew he put the bigger turbo. I was like, I don't want to be beat, like, you know, that kind of way.
Yes, yes.
So I did, but then like I was gutted that day for Gareth, like I really was. So I loved to have seen her go well. Like
I remember that day, and I would say they're all probably friendly, but I remember I was standing chatting to Cook, and he was like, then the next thing, is it Ryan Connery you call the boy with the 8410? The next thing Ryan Connery come out, and you flashed the lights at me in the tractor, and you were like, you went flash lights and then just went to the video, and I was like, I was planning on doing this anyway, and the 8410 lines up, and Cook was turning, he was videoing the whole thing, but he just turned around to me and goes, I'm shaking now, I'm fucking shaking. I was like, alright, whatever you say. Like I was like, but he was like, genuinely, he was like, fuck, this man's gonna beat me. In class 5, like they were trying to just see how far they could pull. I think Cook was trying to go for the Glen Shane, like
no, that 8410, she has different gravy. Like
she is class. She is unreal, and she's a genuine NA tractor, isn't she?
She was bought new. That the story with that tractor is, now Connery's will tell you themselves, it could be, I could be missing details, but Connery's father and the fellow that owned that tractor was very friendly, and like they grew up round your man's yard. Your man Jimmy Thompson bought that tractor, knew him, whatever else, and he seeded with her and that, and employed with her, and he was an arable farmer. Like,
yeah.
So he was. But after Jimmy had passed away, obviously, then the tractor sat for a year or two, didn't do anything, and because Ryan and Aaron was friendly with them and that, and their father, they were fit to get her out for. That was Dragri Spec was the first time that day in the quarry we had. That was her first outing. That was her big outing. I went and lifted her from your man's yard and stuff.
Right.
That was her first outing since Jimmy passed. I think she done one tractor run in memory of him, and that was the Dragri Spec was her first big outing really as such. So she was dynoed that night. Was it 389 horse or something she was doing? And was it 2,650 pound of torque?
Oh, it's funny.
The
dyno tripped out, but she couldn't finish the test. She was that warm. It was savage, and I mean, whenever I say the ground was shaking, I ain't exaggerating. The ground.
No,
was
I'd well
fucking
believe that.
vibrating,
We were sitting, me and Barry were standing at the front of that big John Deere in the dyno, and the big exhaust on her, the big.
She's a massive big proper.
Exhaust, yeah. Well, me and Barry were standing at the front of it, and see when the the load came on the tractor, all you seen was there's that much force of smoke coming out of that exhaust, or noise and everything, and she was just bending the pipe back towards the cab like that there. So she was. Oh, I mean that thing was savage.
I will admit that. Fair enough. Then I was maybe that's why Cook was a bit nervous then, because I don't know what Alistair's was at maybe that day. She could have been sitting a bit higher again, but that thing just pulled like effortlessly. She just, and she's not loud, but she's not quiet. Like there's a real presence with that thing.
It's like it's a drone. It's a big old ignorant grunt of a drone over her. Like.
It is. It's not. That's probably the best way to describe it.
It's not unbearable. You could listen to it all day.
But then that kind of brings me back to what we were sort of saying there earlier about talking about how you'd rather be in a modern classics. Like Kilns had that big, is it an 8470 or something? 8740. Like, I don't know my modern tractors, and I don't even know my Massey's at all.
It's 13.5 ton with a Vario gearbox. If that thing can pull,
But and I think I might have said this even to Lorraine. Like, there's no noise or nothing with that.
It's not exciting.
No. It sounds like I don't want to say it sounds like a washing machine. Like it's cool. Like
it's like a novelty to see what it can do, and then it's
there's
like
no noise out of
it.
now.
It's a novel. More.
It's like reading a book that's black and white, but then the tractors with the noise is like the coloured book that you really want to read.
That's very true, yes.
We invited Callan that day for the plain sheer fact that Cook was weighing up his tractor. Connery was bringing that 8410. What else was there that was big?
Davy Simpson with
Davy
a
Simpson,
big 8480.
8480.
Davy. I actually thought that was Young's.
No, that was Davy Simpson's that day. So it was Young's. It was on the pull.
Young's had the 3655 or something.
3695, I think she is.
She's big as that.
Yep. There's something strange. She's a, what was it Charlie said to me? Was she a prototype tractor and they never took off? She's the same as a 3690. There's differences, but I don't know what differences there would be under the bonnet. But even if you looked at her on the top of the grill, there was wee vents across the top of her.
I just thought that was something maybe stuck on or whatever. But
no, genuine. She is a 3695 or a 3690 something or something. There's a funny number tell her like.
But they have a proper pulling tractor, haven't they, as well?
That 2805.
Aye, they have a proper.
She is. Yeah, that was a bit of a sore point in Mull ahead for a lot of people back in the day. She is a genuine farm class tractor because she came out of the factory with that engine and all in her, and they had just turned her way up. But because she's like big horsepower and a V8 and stuff. The boys at Mullahead didn't really like that in the 7.5 ton class, so it wasn't really fair. But then it's the same as Cook now too. Like so, Connery doesn't mind, but I'm sure there'll be somebody with a big tractor competing against Cook that'll not like the fact he's nearly 500 horse or more.
Well, what do you call your man? Oh, I've forgotten his name. The English fella, Tugwell.
Adrian Tugwell, yeah.
Adrian Tugwell. Alistair reckons he's going to go and start fettling.
Oh, he is, aye.
And
He wants. There's a Stevie Evans there. We're doing a poll now, August time, and that'll be right up in the Arch Peninsula, and straight on there, Adrian he wrote and says, "I'll take a trip over" or something like that there, and he wants to bring a couple of tractors over. I think he's hooked on it now too.
I think he's going to maybe leave the tractors that he's taking on the pull over here for that,
right.
They're just that
Go and
close
bring
together.
your mic back closer to your...
Pull it round to yourself.
I pull it round to yourself.
Aye.
That better.
I like, so you're talking straight into it. It's just I'm feared of you being too quiet.
Hold on. Whoa.
You're gone now.
To be honest, even if you're a bit quiet, it still picks you up. I can turn it up a little bit.
No, it's alright.
Like, I remember Cook was saying, like, to me, I was like, do you think there'd be anybody here willing to be... And he was like, he's like, Adrian Tugwell, he goes, was talking about starting to do a bit, and he goes, and to be brutally honest with you, he's like, I'm glad to see someone else spending the money and figuring out things that break so I don't have to. And I was like, that, in a nutshell, that's fair enough, like.
I think I bought a hoodie years ago, and what is it? The world's most powerfulest motorsport. That's what it is.
Well, you
Probably
the
not far
1455 and the F130. If you were to have the money now, what would you go and buy different tractor-wise as like a dream tractor?
Have you any era, or have you?
Any limit on money
Probably not. Just out of curiosity, what would you just go and buy? You can do tractor pulling.
to add to the fleet as such?
Essentially, yep.
Can I answer this too?
You can't even want, Michael. You can't even want,
I have two.
Go for it.
I'll hit it by either a TW30 or a long nose TW, either a 30 or a 35 or an MB track. I would love an MB track. I get
Like an 1800?
I wouldn't even go as big.
Really?
So when I get a run in, I don't know your man's name. Tucker brought it up the time Gareth done the 12 dynos at Christmas this year again.
Yes.
They brought up an MB track at 1500. Is it McGulley Vintage Club down there? They or some one of them men own it. And but we couldn't dyno if there was something, or there was a bolt broke or something. Something was wrong, and I couldn't get her to run on the dyno. But I got her running that thing. Fuck, it is class.
It's not a tractor you ever really see much over here, but
Campbell, that fella I was telling you about the Muirhill, he had actually a fleet of them. He had 2 or 3 of them years ago. So he had now, they weren't big, they were maybe an 800 and 1100 or something like that,
4 cylinders and early
They're
6 cylinders.
succeeding the
11's a
1000s,
six.
the 1000s, 6
I
as
know
well.
the 1000's a 6 cylinder, but you're saying 800.
Maybe 8 or
4-cylinder.
900. I'm not sure what they were. I don't know. I wouldn't be up on them.
That farm the fake came from, there's a 1000 in Hood as well. She does the spraying, still does.
That's right. Aye.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see, you don't see many of them over here, but whenever, like I remember being in Germany, I've been in Germany a few times, but I remember the first time I was in Germany was 2008, and I remember like seeing them pulling over
That's
there.
when they were made, you see.
Aye.
They are German built,
because they're probably built in Karlsruhe or somewhere like that, but like I remember, like, it's just like, Jesus, there's an MB track, and the only thing I'd seen them was like literally from books that I'd got for Christmas. It was like literally Tractors of the World or something was the book I had, and
But you never really, like, I would never have looked at them because they were the same style as a fast track, years ago.
yeah,
They
weren't conventional.
A fast track wasn't like a field tractor. I wouldn't have classed it as.
No.
But no, definitely as you get older, you kind of get wiser maybe a bit too.
What is it about an MB track that you'd want one though?
The speed and the grunt.
Are they 65 or 70k?
I think that one that I was driving was 70k.
Seriously, I didn't know they were as fast as that.
I see. There's different specs in them and different specs of the axles in them. Some of them's 50, like even flows one.
What's Michael's rated to?
It's 50, 55k. That's the rear axles.
Fast enough for a 1990s tractor.
Yeah, but then like, he was saying that he could go and he could buy the high geared axles for her and convert her to 65 or 70k if he wanted to. But I don't think or you could buy it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But the hassle it would be and stuff as well. So, but that 1500 now, she was quick.
So that's one of them. What was the other one? Or did you really say?
A long nose TW, so the
I
TW.
love the TW, yeah.
What about you?
I'd have to stick with the Italians, like, so.
Same.
Once that F140 that I was land level one comes up for sale, I want that, like, and I'd say either a 1880 or 1880 or something like Barry's.
Aye.
But to be most honestly, money wise, G240, Genesis, Fiat Agri, colours, you know.
Aye, so
Set
basically
up a
Cooks
seat.
with the Fiat version.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that would be pretty cool.
Set up like Cooks.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd had 18090 as well as would be what I'd have. I'd love a 18090 and an F140.
180s, they're fun to drive, like. They are.
I know nothing. I've never been in one. Like,
Well, you've got a drive on it.
I done a couple of polls with her now. Yeah.
I've never. Here, Barry might even let me get a run on her, but it's. I don't know. You see, if you two levers here, haven't you?
Yeah, you have your ranges on one side, and then you have your gears on the next side, and
4x4 in it.
you have 4 ranges here. He's second range, I think. Barry puts her on to, and then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4.
But see, wait. So this is the problem with the likes of the 110. Is if I'm pulling, say, we'll call it like an 18-foot silage trailer on behind my 110, and I'm coming up. There's a hill Connor has in one of his fields called Artlone Hill, and she's brave and steep, and I'm literally coming up that hill and hay first because you're pulling beside like a Class 870 or something. He's just jumping on, and the next thing the tractor's starting to die, and you're shitting yourself wondering where you're going to
You
get.
don't want to go into the medium box.
Huh?
You don't want to go into the medium
You
box.
can't because you have to
No.
stop.
Yeah.
This is the problem. You have, where as the power shift in the 180, can you say be in like say 4.2? Can you drop her then into 3.2, or do you have to?
You Barry has to clutch for that medium change, doesn't
Yeah.
he? But I know that.
But you can at least if you clutch, you can drop the box. Is it like range command or?
them four. I know them 4 splitters on the right hand side, or them 4 gears like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right of Barry's tractor. If you ever watch him tractor pulling, he has her in first. I hang at second, or
Yeah.
second first. And whenever he lights her up, he doesn't click, click, click. He snaps it right back into fourth, and she'll take fourth. And like just
She's
start
savage.
leveling,
She's 225 in the dyno, so she can boogie like.
You'd want to see what she'd do with a big turbo on her.
Aye,
HX50,
big-
same as Cooks. would
She's
be.
an 8.1 litre engine, like, so she does. But the problem, on the pole, ones were saying, Jesus, that thing didn't do so well there. But he couldn't get her head up. But you would have seen me that day in Ballykelly.
Like Yas decided to try and join the pod.
Lovely. Any pussy will get.
Now,
She's not a bad recruiter. Like,
Edit that out there.
Oh, man, shut up.
the other thing is, how do you actually compare Barry's 180/90 to a 6480? You know, on the pole. You take into consideration the gears. Me and the Zeta was evenly matched.
You would have met me that day down in
It was great
Ballykelly.
crack between noise
You'd
and
have
smoke.
seen
wasn't
me
too
warming
bad.
up that Fiat.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember even it on the pole. You were, or was it, if it wasn't you, I remember seeing the Fiat constantly going for a drive, and I remember
Aye,
him.
but Barry we couldn't have got her head up that day, but that day down in Ballykelly, she was warm, you know.
Aye,
And Barry
'cause I remember
says
you
it was
taking her
like,
out.
I don't know, 100 horsepower there. See when that Fiat's warm, she can do damage, like.
I remember Barry was telling me it on the pole. He was like, I'd need to be bringing the rotavator up with me here
Yeah.
next year.
But even if she was warm or not, you know, yes, Barry and that 6480 is probably similar power, but you take the gearing of them alone,
aye.
you know what I mean? It's like putting a dual power up against a range command, or even a range command up against a power command. For you have, you know, you get into B6, you had a clutch or hit your clutch button to
Yeah.
get into C1, you have a delay. Power command, you're straight up, straight down.
She just jumps you,
To
throws
be
you out of the
fair,
seat.
you know, all one had a delay probably from like 3F to 4A. They would always been slow. Dyna 6s wouldn't have took it very quickly either. Like, but you know, that's another one of them things you need to take into consideration if you're doing the whole head-to-head track.
Then, if you wanted to, that's pulling a thrower up a bray, hook them onto the sleighs, a different story.
Yeah.
The 180 could have walked clean over the top of 6480. So she would have. And my eyes, anyway, I don't know what you'd think about it, but.
I would say Barry's is hard to second. Yeah, it's
But
hard
that
to second.
6480, I think Barry was against, isn't a standard tractor either.
No,
like,
no,
the
no,
on
no.
things.
Do you ever see the 2725? Well, Youngs have.
She's the Euro spec with the side shift on her.
They bought her. I think they.
I don't
Right.
think I've ever seen that.
She was at
like a
Pomeroy.
2640.
She got her first outing at Pomeroy.
Right.
And chatting to, was it Alwyn's young boy or was it Charlie again? They had bought her from.
And
an
are we
auction.
talking about the same one we were on about earlier?
No, that's
Oh.
her 3690 or
No,
3795.
the V8 one we were talking about.
No.
Different wagon.
That's a,
Another one.
that's a 2725. She would be like your, I think, they're 175 horse standard, I think.
Right.
But she, they had bought her from an auction in Holland or Denmark or somewhere like that, and they brought her over home and whatever else, but drove her off the low loader, and they must have said to themselves, "Geez, this thing's wild Ricky, it's going brave and well." So there was a TikTok put up over her and the dyno at like 280 horse or something silly. Somebody actually used her for tractor pulling in Holland or Germany or wherever she came out of. Your Holland's young boy was fit to go onto YouTube and was just looking through YouTube one night, what tractor pulling. They found her. The same tractor, the Michelin man, the same sticker on the windscreen, they found her in like Denmark or whatever it was, tractor pulling, like that's what she was used for. See, whenever she's wound up like on the pull, like on the sleigh, like she'll hunt. She'll hunt until the load gets on her, and then she'll set herself again. Kind of like Big Blue nearly, she's that far advanced. So it is. She's different now, she's cool.
See, in regards then, somebody that, say if there's anybody listening and they're 16, 17, how do you get into tractor pulling then? How would you say is the best way to get into it?
Go and watch first.
Just go and watch, or if there's a local event, coming up, make the point of going, or if you had to book in early and go. Like.
Hey, we're friendly enough bunch of boys. We're not going to eat you, like.
Can't confirm.
And you always try and advise somebody or help them. Like, not that we're fucking any experts at it. Like, Jesus, every day's a school day. Like,
my brother schooled me, like, so.
No, but it's wee things you do learn. Like tires and stuff. You do like get competitive at it.
Something I think I'd like to do in the Fate, but I'd be shitting myself. I'd be that scared of lining up for the first pull and blowing the clutch packs clean out of her or something like that. Like, that's what I'd be worried about.
But
that's no difference in you working with a side chiller.
Aye.
I go easy and work your way up.
No, but you were saying about that hill, you were pulling your 18-foot trailer or whatever else.
That's
no difference. Are you going and, her dying away down to her spinning or her stopping? No difference at all.
It's the initial pull I always thought was hard on them. I thought it was the initial slap with the sleigh was always the...
that chain, see at the back, you have two chain men, Jay and Aaron, they'll hook the chain onto you. And they'll tell you to tighten up, before you pull.
Yes.
So it's as if it's like a solid bar, more or less then.
She actually has no slap.
You'll not have any slap then. So then you just take your clutch out as you please and hit it, as long as you don't lift it clean up, flat out.
You couldn't risk a slap of a chain because it broke and went back and hit the end of the sleigh.
Sure, at Ballymena that time, we Andy McMullen, 6490 she is. They were pulling with her, but he had Andy literally arrived in and set his dump chiller off and come in and pull for the crack. He was busy doing something or whatever, but there was a gap between his hook. He wasn't on the drawbar, he was on the hook. And Jay has a video of it, her pulling, the next thing fucking snap, the chain unhooking the pickup hook, like.
That'd be scary.
Then once you get into the tractor pull, and then you start making drawbars and stuff like that there to make it that wee bit better and stuff like that.
500mm height limit, just.
They may not listen, but if they do, 500. Because but I remember whenever I was watching that day. Now, granted, your cub was no age. You all know what I'm talking about. The lad with in the Fate. I don't want to say too much about him, but for that age,
there's a borderline of don't get me wrong. It's lovely to see a young fella going doing the likes of that, but there's a safety side of it too.
Because I remember then I was standing.
That's why that poll was sort of private and
invite only. Yeah.
That's where we could get away with that, but the professional side of things, when we're going to a proper show, that's...
You'd need to be at least 13. Well, it's probably actually 16 to be fair.
I was going to say, I thought if anything you'd need to have the provisional license.
There's on the poll that you have to have a full driver's license, not even a provisional, it has to be a full driver's license.
Those insurance reasons at the end of the day.
You can see their point. You can see their point,
But your wee lad in the Fate then, his second run was a no pull. He had her full rev or something. He jumped forward. Did he stall her or something? This was in the 11090.
I can't mind. I know. Whenever he drove up the track, the first or second time, he took every side marker out of the.
I remember I was standing beside you and you were sitting going like that.
Held her over a wee bit.
But and then the second time, he had her full up on the hand throttle, and I remember he put her forward. She jumped, and it was like a no. The run was nearly like a no run or something.
Avoid.
Why would that have been?
I think it was just because it was giving the young fella a bit of crack, that kind of way. Maybe
it's just to get him hooked on it, so when he's older, then he'll be like myself and sort of hooked on it. Then, aye, pretty much.
You see the amount of pulls that should have been void that day, like Aaron Clark or Darcy Clark 7, 8, 10 that day as well. His last pull, he got to the full pull, but he clipped the 100-metre pole, you know, or clipped the flag, that shouldn't have been out of bounds, like, you know, if you're going real strict at it, like.
But obviously that day was a bit of crack, like, more than anything.
No, it was, but that's, like, going forward, that's what we all said in that group chat too, you know, whenever Stevie organises this pull of his, the tracks, I think there's going to be 2 tracks down there.
But
so
then, like,
2 tracks would definitely speed the whole thing up.
No, it's not even that, it's to keep one track good, you know, like,
That's what I mean, like, you can fix one while the other one's getting.
But the thing that hurt at Ballykelly was they had the 2-wheel drive class, and then they had the 5.5 ton class, but there were some of them men pulling 2-wheel drive too, and it just carried it up.
That was just to give the 2-wheel drive boys a bit of competition.
You know,
that, like,
and then everybody wanted to pull on 2-wheel drive, you know, to get a pull. But hey, you learn these mistakes, because Barry's only got the sleigh. When did we go down to? Was that March?
March last year.
Yeah, he's only got it since then, and like we've had 4 or 5 sort of wee shows and stuff so far. And well, you're down that one in Ballykelly, and that was just an invite only one. You seen how?
That was really just men out of that group chat were in.
I was so surprised at how little people were there. Like, that was the thing I thought. Like, whenever I landed in, like, I was like, why is there nobody here? Because
that was why. You know,
I didn't realise it was literally a private invite only, because there was a chip van and all that.
That was, well, to be fair, that was nearly Eoin that organised all that. But it was, you know, it was generally the ones out of that WhatsApp group chat we all have just for a bit of crack before Christmas and a bit of banter, come on ahead. I think there was a couple of boys, you know, the likes, it was invited, like, to Kellen's not in that group chat, but we asked him to come.
And the Clarks as well, maybe.
Yeah, they are in it, I think. But, you know, just the ones that's kind of all there all the time that you can have a bit of crack and stuff with, you know. That kind of way.
See, over multiple events then, do you have like a leaderboard? Say, you know, you go to Ballykelly and you perform well, Andrew, at that, and then you go to, say, Pomeroy and you have a dog of a day.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a thing where it's ongoing, like, say you get so many points or whatever for a pull or that, or is it?
Union was on about bringing that in.
Yeah, I think Aaron and them was talking about that at a time. You know, sort of like a leaderboard or such.
Yeah,
like
an
between
F1 constructors champion sort of thing.
Just between ourselves, you know, that kind of way.
Makes it a bit more exciting.
When you say, like, as a drivers or as constructors, like, when you're saying, is there, like, different wee teams kind of thing? Like, you say.
Not that there's different
Like, you've got the McGraths, you've got the Lone Wolf here driving as Nash, you've got the Fate Boys, you know. As I was saying, you know, have you got like a Ford?
No.
It's not
Fate
even
Man now.
Well, true, Fate Man now.
No, we're not discussing that. So we're not.
Slowly getting there.
Very fucking slowly. Very slowly.
What do you see? You have an F-140 next.
No, the whole team thing, it's not even that, like, I always, anytime I done tractor ball, and even, well, with the 14 especially, I always compared myself to Barry. If I was coming close to Barry, I'd be doing well. Like,
Barry. What displacement's your...
What?
Displacement's your 1455?
What do you mean displacement?
Engine size.
Well, she's 6.6.
She's just nowhere near Barry's.
So I beat him at Ballykelly. The good day.
Like I said, there's a fine line, different conditions,
so it was
different.
Now, you know, and then that last tractor pull we were at that time with you. Now, we done, what was it? Was it the 9.5 ton class Barry had for like the pre-1990s, and there was me and Cook and Barry. I think was there 4 tractors in it or something like that. But anytime that tractor mine pulls in the 8.5 ton class or 9.5 ton class, I don't weigh her up. Like, that's just Matthew's there, the nephew. He's always with me at them things, and it keeps him interested too. It's like, here, lad, wheel away there. You know, fill your bits and see how you get on, sort of thing. It's a bit of crack for him. Mm-hmm. But sure, that good day, he done the same thing as well. He pulled, and I didn't. There was a wild tractors in the 8.5 ton class that day, if I mind
deadly, hey.
But Matthew, he beat Hugh Barr's 6155R. So he did, and her a ton lighter. Like, fuck, I was happy. It's always good to get one over a John Deere, man. Like. So it's always good.
Well, see, in regards to the tractors then, do you use them much at home in the yard, or do you screw them back? I know, Owen, you said you put yours back when it turns, or are they just show ponies or that?
Have you seen the 14 show pony?
But did she get used as an actual...
She's smoking fucking noise.
No, at the minute, no, she doesn't, because she's in bits. If I did have something to do with, I never had the tanker on her. I'd say I haven't done very much with her. I had the dump chiller on her one day. I was drawing stone with her, and then that's whenever she broke a piston or cracked whatever she had done, and then she got the full rebuild in. So she did. Other than that, no, she wouldn't be used. I drew that Seddies for Big Ryan and stuff, and I loaded her to a slurry for him. I'm not feared to use her, but she's not there to serve it. Like, as for the farm at home, you can sell her. You don't need her. You know, that kind of way.
Yes.
You know, it's just she's there for a toy. She's a bit of crack.
Because she's the 8260 and you have
8260s there. She would be the big tractor, as we would call her at home. Like, then there's a 4355, a loader, and a 390T.
You have a 4355 as well.
Partial of dung, I always think.
I fucking did. I would never take more pleasure
Horrible
than burning a
tractor.
fucking tractor like that thing at home.
But yet yours pulls well.
No.
She is a good wee pulling thing.
No, but we used to have we had a 390 years ago as well.
I think he needs a running on F130, I think.
I'd love her on the F130. Absolutely.
We had a 390 at home, but
Well,
she
I
was
only let me dad and Andrew drive it, like, so.
Well, maybe not.
I have driven a tractor many times.
That's what I say, that's why I'll let you drive it and
They
well, maybe fit it in somewhere or
What a
not.
fate, man. Like,
come and drive that F120. Take her.
Do you
home.
think you'll be shaking? He'll be bouncing to the seat.
I'm well anxious. Like,
Good job, there's a sunroof on it then.
Head. I've been nearly looking at the road for the sunroof.
I don't know if she's in clips at the top. It'll maybe pop up out the sunroof.
As you can clip off, you can just like take the two valve or the two things out and then just slide the sunroof to the left. Just to the right.
Judging by the last few years, you probably put it down.
Just put it at the 14 now. Sure, the sunroof blew off her down at Della. I had a ratchet strapper in the lorry coming home.
But you have a permanent sunroof now at the minute, like. You can
Oh, plenty of aircon.
We
14
used to
now.
have a wee 7635 and her dad was living. We used to have a wee 7635. We had nearly 90 and then traded her up for a 7635.
more or less
It's like
based on
a
the fate.
TL 100. I don't know.
TL 100. She's basically an 8894.
Yep.
Yes.
So we had it, and she had like the two basically levers here, and you could put the front window out in her the same way you
My
can with like
uncle has
U-bar
the
stoots.
exact same tractor, 7635, shuttle on here and half gear on it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, she just shuttle here and then she's a wee flick switch. She's writing.
I don't think this one had it. I don't think hers had a
She
flick
had
switch.
8894 gearbox with a wee
Yes,
half gear on
she
here.
was properly like full manual. Like
Yeah.
them's
a wee pocket rocket.
they're serious money. Them savage
That's like a
money.
wee case. Mine you had the diet feeder on her. She's
Oh,
a-
Blair's GXU 105.
No one's a wicked wee
I've
article.
never
Like.
seen a wee tractor that punches more above its weight in my life. I mean, that big high spec feeder it has, I don't know, is it like a 14 cube meter or whatever it is? It's a pretty big tub feeder. Like.
Ah, that's big,
And like for feeding his high lot, you could be mixing 6 or 6.5 ton in some feeds. Like, and that, you start her first thing in the morning, drive around to the bunker, and then like hand throttle nearly fully on and start your PTO. It's cruel as anything.
Oh, it
But
is.
The only thing is a great wee. I drew story about her and has 2,500 gallon tanker. Like, so then.
They are.
A deadly wee
They're
yoke.
deadly
Like.
wee track. And what's that? The JXU or MXU?
JXU.
JXU. 4-cylinder.
Yeah. Same as your like T5060.
Yes.
It'd be that size.
But even a 5060 and a 5070 they're good wee tractors too.
Oh,
like.
yeah.
5070s are seriously going with things.
57. Well,
5070 is the same as a JXU 115.
Aye.
So it would be.
Was there not a 5070 on the pole? Was that the one that was doing serious?
The 5060 was it not against
Yeah,
the
it was
7740?
Aye.
I had only bought her. She was brand new or so. She wasn't that long new. Don't think.
The 5060?
No, maybe I'm thinking of the T5 or the T6. Sorry, I'm thinking of the T6.
Aye, maybe.
Possibly.
Aye, it was a T7. It was a T7 your mum was driving that was basically new. Fell from Castle Dirk. Are we thinking the same people?
Don't know.
Us.
Can't think off the top of my head.
I know he'd basically got it wasn't mapped or nothing, and I was like, oh, you're going to be in for a fun time here. You have any other questions?
Oh well, no, not that I can think of at the minute. You? No, we're right now on time. What time are we?
Hour and a half.
Fuck!
I know you can get through a lot of shit. in that
Jesus
wee
Christ! Right enough.
while.
Aye.
So it is.
Any ideas of what you want to go against on the poll this year?
No, I don't know. I hope it pushes from now to then.
No, I don't
No,
want to
no
get soaked.
offense. I hope you're fucking wrong.
I hope you're
want
fucking
that
wrong.
story.
Aye, but then when it rains and it's all slippy and then them big Michelins.
I know, wait I tell you, I was fucking foundered in the winter time there with no windscreen in the 14.
If it, like,
I'm
rains-
not been soaked with no cab in the 14.
If it rains the night before a wee bit, like, even if I, like,
You're going in the
You're
inspect.
literally going to have a second low loader coming up just with the wheels on, like.
like an F1.
Are you bringing her down the pole with the big wheels?
I don't know. I'll just wait for. I'll watch Frank Mitchell that week and just
Oh,
hopefully.
fuck him, you'd be better listening to Barra.
Right enough.
It wouldn't matter. It's going to be wrong anyway.
Aye, yep.
But, like, to be fair, they got lucky at on the pole this year with the weather.
It dried well.
It dried well for them
As soon as the
couplers.
digger came in and got the scum off the top of the track, it dried fierce well. Like. So it did.
Then I think that's Alan's ground. That's good enough ground, like, at the same time. Like, I think, to be fair.
It's good ground.
Once you get below the layer, it was good hard like clay nearly below.
Once you got away from where the water soaked through,
Yeah.
then you were down in the solid, like.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for it to dry as the day went on. Like.
So for on the pull then, screwed down the fate there a couple of weeks ago, just because my dad's using it for dump trailer work and stuff like that there, and there's no need for her to rev the head off herself or anything like that there, so screwed down a wee bit. But I was chatting to a few boys and I was saying might want to get my pump done up and my injectors done up, just because I've seen a thing in classic tractor about your pump should be done up every 2,000 hours or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I suppose that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Funny, we were
For
having
your
that.
injectors or something.
We're having that ball with our 60 at home at the minute. Start her and she'll like idle, but she'll idle very high. She'll rev up and down on herself.
How many hours on her?
13,000.
She had the head done.
She got a full engine rebuild that must be 8 years ago, I think. She dropped the valve.
I was going to say, did she drop a valve?
She did.
60s were wild for dropping
It went
valves.
with some bang. I was driving her that day, nothing on her, just going up the hill, and her at peak rev. Next thing, fucking boom.
I know a
That
fella
was
in the
awful.
360 and she dropped the valve as well. And it was,
Fucking William Patton had an 8360 at a time. She was ground driving on her, and he got out that morning, started her, came back in for his breakfast or whatever else. Came out in half an hour's time, and there was a pot of oil underneath her, and the tractor stopped. She had dropped the valve and put the piston down through the sump of her. Had tick over like, so she did. But no, that our 60's giving baller with the whole pump there at the minute too. And that pump's never been off her to get done up. Never.
To be fair, they're a serious tractor for doing big hours. For I know that one of Quinn's, when I was talking about when I was young, they still have her and running the Dota pump.
Yeah.
And there's 30,000+ hours on her.
Oh, there you are. Right?
the biggest horsepower, the biggest hours I've ever seen in tractors are the Valtras. See, or not even the Valtras, the Valmets.
The Valmet, yeah.
See, in Finland, you see boys like posting on pages like how many hours in your tractor, and it's like I know like 8850 or an 8750,
8950,
and it's got like 34,000 plus hours, and I'm just like, holy shit, like that's a lot of.
I would say there must be in around the same hours in Joe Black 7810 that he pushed in with. Be a question sometimes
She's
if you ever see
probably.
Richard.
I think there's 17,000 hours in my map, bro. Yeah, and the clocks don't work on her anymore. So God knows whenever they stopped. Like, she's 1983. She's 41 year old now.
Oh,
Like,
there you are, hey?
How many hours have you put in the 110 since you got her?
30-year-old, you mean?
no, 1983.
Oh, I thought you said 93.
No, 83. She's
Same year as the 14, yeah.
she's full on. She's got the Ford 5000 axles on her.
Right, okay.
Front and rear, both Ford 5000 axles. She's pivot steer, you see.
Yes.
So it's, and the brake sleeves are out of a Money clutch sleeve. The original Money.
Cheers.
Yeah, so like you can use like the old Rovers, the old Jags. They're all the same sleeves. It's like a GBY 110 or something. It's called. That's what I'd put two of them on her for the. I remember looking it up, and there's boys trying it in the Mapro page saying, "Oh, we have these fully galvanised in stock, and they're like £299." I got them for like £13 each out of a motorsport, just because I knew what to look for.
No, you're on about that on the pull and who would like to go up against. I was thinking, well, that rain and all that there in the big wheels, but my brother Niall,
Is Niall going into this year? Is Niall in this year?
no, he's not. No, he'd rather sit and watch the sideline and watch me make a fool of myself and probably laugh at me.
He's probably wiser.
I was going to say
Aye.
probably right he is.
But for driving wise, for being cool, calm, like unreal. That time at Pomeroy, him schooling me how to tractor pull, like, and him, you think he's not interested in it at all. For night pull, full pull, and no real facial expression at all.
Niall, you don't full pull.
Is it sort of like not a fuck to give? And he's grand with it.
How he does it, like, but the next day, I full pull and I went up the track, buzzing one of our tractors, saw myself over 130, like, I was like, fuck, you're in the pull off final, unreal, like, roaring at him. I was like, alright.
I wish I was like that.
And then, what do you call it, went up against, in the pull off against the Massey, pit the Massey, and I was like, roaring and shouting at the side of the track and everything, and go on, you girl, you and all this here. Now, you won. Oh, happy days. I'm
It's
like,
a bit like Ryan Connery too.
Just
Like,
flatlined.
he'd be the same. He made a wild fuck up one time at a tractor pull, and I hope he listens to this, because he'll get mad at me telling this. But mine the day done. Where was it? Was it Johnson's pull, Bridge End, or wherever it was down the country a wee bit? took the 3650 till it and started off pulling in low first. I mean, like literally low first at a fucking snail's pace.
No,
and Aaron was standing beside him. You know, and Aaron was videoing it, but at the same time you could hear Aaron, what is he doing? Is that fucker a no box? What's he at? Like I say, yeah, it was fucking hilarious. But Ryan never flight. Just fucking sure, whatever. Didn't care, like. So he didn't care.
Big question is who you want to go up against.
I want to see you go against Owen again.
No, I don't know.
So that was class.
I would.
The Zetter and the case, like.
Or the Owen. That was good sport too, because me and Owen was talking beforehand as well, and like he was tinkering. Owen Duffy. I Zetter boy. Like that's what me and him was talking before that and stuff. You know, and he was tinkering and I was tinkering.
You were kind of doing like a fake grudge match nearly on TikTok as well.
It was just
which turned probably a bit real by the end.
It was a bit of banter, like, you know. I know the overall time he beat me by 2 seconds, but I always said that if I could get to the top of the hill, I couldn't give a fuck about the barrels, and I did. I beat him the first time, and the second time he was full. I get Mark or John to send me the GoPro footage of my pull in the cab, and you can see the 14 catching him the whole. You know, whenever he came into the box, he was still slightly ahead of me, but I was way behind him at the start, like because of my fuck up. But I don't know. I entered the 14 into class 4 this year. So I did.
But the way they're doing it this year's different, isn't it?
It's different, but it's still sort of the same. The only old school tractor in class 4 last year was Barry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
He's in it this year again.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, that's you know, I put my 14 into class 4. But I remember Mark telling me one time too. He sort of wasn't. He would have loved more old school stuff in class 4.
100%.
So I was like, look, I actually don't give a fuck if I win the competition or not. I'm there for the crack and to support the charity. So throw me into class 4. I don't care.
Yeah, you and Barry, the 14 and the 180 would
could
be.
do that.
That would be a good run.
That's 2 old school yaks, you know.
Well, I'm probably going to be on the team again this year, like.
Yeah.
And after last year, what was John's words? It was like, as the tail wagging the dog. Because I ran about like a wee fucking terrier all day, getting boys lined up, screaming at boys.
That's right.
Driver number 68! Driver number
I
69!
still mind you shouting it, still in the back of my head.
Literally, I just remember gowling, like coming in and gowling, and just boys that sort of grin, just looking at me going, you poor bastard. And it's just like, please, John, if you're going to do anything, put up a fucking TV.
I wouldn't actually mind going against something new. Like say a T7 210 auto command or something. If it was standard. There's no point, like, what's the 14 was she doing the last I know, 185 or something, and I turned her down since then. So I'll have to put her on again and turn her up. But like, depending on the gearbox and as we were saying earlier on, if you had a T7 210 at 220 horse, dynoed it wherever, she'll be 2 ton heavier than me, or 1.5 tons or 2 ton heavier. She'll be losing power through the auto command.
Yeah,
that would be tight enough. It wouldn't.
She would grip better though with the Vario.
She probably would. But you see, the 14's old school Vario, the Turbomatic clutch in them,
right?
The Fint favourites, like an 824 or an 818 or a 615 LSA.
Yeah.
You ever hear? The way a 615?
I've seen the 515s.
Yeah. But the Turbomatic's a clutch.
Right. Okay.
It's an oil-based clutch.
Okay.
So in theory, like I can start off in a higher gear and let my foot off the clutch, rev her, and she'll eventually take off and go. I'll show you the video of it. That me starting in the wrong gear on the pull. If you were in your 11090 or your F130, if you started on top gear and your foot off the clutch, bang, she was stalled. That's why the 14 didn't. That's why I was fit to get her pulled back again, because that clutch will slip to a certain degree. There's a certain amount of pressure in it.
Is it a viscous clutch or something? No, is that viscous clutch or something's going on in my head? No, that doesn't sound right.
No, it's a ZF part. I think Case called it Case-O-Matic and Fint called it Turbomatic, but it's the same part. So as I say, it's both maybe ZF. Like.
You're on about going up against someone. I just came my thought there now. You know the way Niall always beats me in that Sammy Silver at the tractor pull? And it, like, Donkey was ringing me up about tyres for his Sammy.
Yes.
Silver 130. He's going to be taking her this year.
Oh, he's not taking the 90 this year?
No, I think it's the silver one.
Because the 90 was in the first class. It wasn't competitive. Like.
No. And I said to myself, you know what? I'd love to go up against the Sammy just to prove to myself, like, here, to my old boy, hey, old Fate can do it too, you know.
But your Fate would walk that up the hill.
You think so?
Oh, she would. My money would be on the Fate, like.
But it'd be good. I'd say the cameras and that there would be brave and funny, like, so it would. Donkey getting hammered again, like. So it would.
There's a video, I have it on my phone there. of him going against like the 7-8-10, and it was Connor was driving Farnflux's 7-8-10, and like they let Donkey start, like I'm not joking, maybe 50 metres ahead. As he was getting up the hill, Connor just fucking whacks him. And I thought when Donkey got up to the top of the hill he would stop. No, he kept roulette on his own. You could just hear him fucking gowling at the top of the hill on his own, trying to go around the course, going, "Go on, you girly, go on, you fucking bitchy." Just him sitting stuck like in the sort of between a cone like this here, just spinning, just stuck like. That's where we actually first met him. To be fair, it was on the pole.
It's alright.
I swear, Farnflex has done some favours for us, like you know.
I never met him, but he ended up. I think I had him a Snapchat for some reason, and then it was the whole tractor pulling thing. I've met him at Ballykelly and on the pull and stuff, but he ended up he wanted into the tractor pulling grip, so that's how he's in it then too.
Is
so
he in
it
it?
is. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I might start dropping hints here too then.
Do you want to 50 quid. I'll go to the Fix the 14 fund.
What about my Fix the 110 fund?
Just caught him a pane of glass.
I might get another set of
First
tyres.
place, mate, first place.
Fuck, you'll be needing some £50 to get another set of tyres for you, boy.
Throw him a hat.
Oh, deal done, no bother.
Or even better, a lanyard.
But no, either that or I got bit by a John Deere. I know.
Was that a 6820, was it? You were against?
6820 or 6830 or something.
Was that the one that was in the semi-final or the final against Macaulay?
Yeah.
Don't thank it fucking.
I know she must
have been well at herself, like, because if she's catching up with Macaulay's F140, like, she must be.
Well, Macaulay's F140 is well doctored.
I tell you, a tractor will be one to watch this year's Ryan's 3650.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I know so.
I didn't know if his first run, whenever I was at Ballykelly, was not impressive, but the second run, then he was like, whoosh, done the whole thing, and I was like,
that we dynoed that tractor one night at Logan's, and she tripped in the dyno at 174 horse at like 1100 and something RPM. The PTO, no, it was 168 horse. The PTO clutch slipped in the tractor. So she's well at herself, like. So she is. Oh, Bambi can go. So she can.
Well, you talk about a boy that can go as that boy, Macaulay.
Oh,
he is not waste.
No.
But then I was told that tractor doesn't have a PTO.
Something to do. I think it was not something to do with the engine.
Aye, because she's a converted
comes
tractor.
with a lorry
She's
engine,
in a Vigo Eurocargo engine, you see, and apparently the PTO doesn't run where.
But I'm like trying to reach 170 horse, like screwing my own engine, where that lorry engine's 170 as standard, like
155. Are they not? Maybe
170. I was told. I'm not too. Well, it depends on the lorry size, and you can get different pumps and stuff like that there, and what he adjusted his pump to. But I'm nearly sure it's right.
What is she meant to be at then, with lorry engine?
she's well over 200.
Well over 200.
Oh, well over 200.
Well, I'll tell you how this is. My pump, 13mm screwdriver, screw it in, means screwing it up and
yes,
right?
Lucas, isn't it?
I can't.
No, that's a Lucas pump. That's a mine.
Like a Bosch, and what
I think mine's is the same as yours.
Paul was loading the lorry up with donkey beside me, and what he goes to me, "You should screw that thing of yours out a bit more." And I was like, "Right, this is coming from the master. I must have a look at his pump. Look at my pump in there. There wasn't a thread barely left on it." I went over to mine and I was like, "There's 8 threads left there." I was like, "Whew."
But like, there's at one point you're at the law of diminishing returns there.
But then he was like, Paul, brilliant lad, was like telling me stuff about, you know, him being on a Fiat and me being on a Fiat. He was trying to like guide me because he done it before and I didn't, and he heard me shitting the brick. This year I'll probably relax a wee bit more and whatever happens. But he was telling me like rally driving, you know, keep the diff lock on, because that's why when you go around a corner you want to straighten up as quick as you can, and you don't want to be missing traction, like one wheel spinning more than the other. Keep your diff lock on and she'll lock herself around quicker, you know, that sort of way, like a straight run. And he was telling me stuff like that there, and he's like, keep her in second, throttle full on, like, and don't let her off the throttle. Whereas when I was against John Deere, I was like letting off the throttle and building her up, whereas you need like anti-lag or something like that there to keep the spool on, to keep her going, like. But there's wee things like that there you learn, and
You'd wonder he said to keep the diff lock on in a corner.
Oh, you wouldn't get round the corner. I was thinking.
You'd push the nose like.
Not in the front.
Well, he had the
rear.
wheels full of water and a. Yeah.
I know.
I had to
diff
give.
lock
I
on,
give
your
him
four wheels
three.
are going the same
I give
speed.
him
You
3
can't
bits
turn
of
the
mine.
corner.
Fate's diff lock rear only, I thought.
Our diff lock.
Fate's not diff lock rear only.
No, because your diff lock should be 4.
No.
Fate's
I'm near sure my
slip on the front,
110,
I think.
she only locks. She's only diff lock in the rear. I'll tell you why. My 110 was stuck in diff lock.
All the time. Maybe that's why she climbed our downhill.
To be
partly.
fair, my 14, whenever you have the diff lock on her, you're still fit to stay. Well, you're still like the pedal on her was seized, so we got it freed up. Took her to a concrete yard, 4-wheel drive on, diff lock on, turned the corner, and she was still turning around the corner. But you couldn't. You know the way you would kind of like turn the wheels and you should push the nose. She wasn't doing that. But whenever you're a tractor pull, all 4 wheels was going, spinning at the same time. So maybe there is theory in it.
Well,
I know the likes of that T7 I would drive your man John Blair, like she would just fucking push the nose.
Aye, the
There's
TM
times
one.
you reach round at dark if you hit a hill on her, oh fuck, 4-wheel drive, and you go to click it, but you actually click the fucking diff lock instead, and you're
Easy
maybe
done.
turning the corner and you would notice it then,
realise that with that fear of yours, because what I done in my second pull, well, I drove out the wrong gate at the end up, but that's besides the point. I need a GPS for this year.
Don't sat now.
Or the John Joe sat now.
John
sat now.
You passed that wrong. Fucking get pallets.
He's a smart boy, alright.
Oh, you go buy this,
You hit the fucking barrel, you stupid bastard.
Son, that's a 6-cylinder Toyota Carina, and she's chipped. You haven't the hope of
The
getting past it.
amount of abuse I got for going out the wrong gate, he was serious that night at the
God,
dinner
Frosty, you fucker, you hit another 5 point.
table. Aye.
Jesus, son, that's a 6820. You're fucked.
What a chat. What an actual chat.
As I said, like that conversation could have went on for easily. Like even see, to be honest, after we stopped recording, we kept talking for probably another 45 minutes.
Probably an hour, a good hour.
Bearing in mind that we stopped recording at about 12 o'clock midnight. So
It was even it was
it was maybe 10
don't know
to
how
12.
bad it was. So my watch gives me my bedtime reminder at 11:30. I changed it from 11, and it went off. And we had finished recording, I think, at 11:15. So we
I
talked.
thought we finished recording at 12.
No, we were talking for an hour and a half
After? Holy fuck. Okay, I thought we were only talking for like 45 minutes.
Because it is now
It's now 10 past 1.
1:10.
I have
We
to be in
talked to
Dublin.
1:45
Ridiculous,
1 in the morning. So there you go. Wow.
I know we've done a few late stunts in this one, but this is one of the later ones.
This is definitely one of the later ones.
The night we had to re-record the entire podcast, episode 14.
That wasn't even as late as this.
No, Taylor's was a late one. Not as late as this either.
No, it finished up. Well, it finished up at 12:30 or so.
All right, well,
Because there was 3 years or something in it.
yeah, it was
We
a long
recorded for 3 years.
conversation. Yeah. So will we jump onto the big old skids and one wheel peels? Do you have much? Here, I'm going to break in then. Connor, we've had our first piece of fan mail,
Fuck off.
and I purposely didn't let you see it because I wanted to read it out.
I'm not going to lie, I come in here and it was like, what is...
You may have noticed our new mascot, a bird, as a gift. And when I read out the letter, all become clear, I think. So, I have this, handwritten and everything.
Wow.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Agri Automotive Podcast, absolutely no fucking clue why I'm writing this, but fuck it, we're here now. This is Paddy the chick. He can keep Patsy company while you're talking shit that apparently people do want to listen to. Paddy was supposed to be a koala, because you know Australia and shit, but the chick just looked better crack, and maybe he identifies as a koala, sure, fuck it. Anyway,
Wouldn't know nowadays.
Anyway, fucking congrats on over a year shite talking. Keep it up to fuck. Oh, and fuck you, Connor. I'm not sure how to
Oh, fuck, I know exactly who this is now.
I'm not sure how you finish off a letter. Good luck, I suppose. Porg. Was it obvious once you...
I wants to fuck you, yeah. Yeah, I wants to fuck you, yeah.
Porg's been a listener since day one.
Get out, Podrick.
Porg's been... That's why he keeps saying fuck you, because you don't say his name right. Porg's been a listener from day one, and me and him have bantered over Snapchat for about the last year or so, like, so I know he's good crack. When he's home from Australia, he says he was going to call around. So
No, definitely.
he is savage crack, to be honest.
As long as it doesn't hit me by that stage.
So we now have Patsy
I
the
might have a
chicken.
runny nose, I don't need a broken nose.
So we have the twins with Patsy and Patsy. Patsy the chicken, Patsy the podcast turbo.
Pat and Patsy.
Pat and Patsy, right, Pat? So that's my first. We could call him Pat Mustard from Father Ted. No,
I was just about to say Patsy's mouth's wide open, but then again, it always is.
yeah, he's a big spoolie boy.
I wonder, does he add any power to the table?
No, but the
We've
Iron
already
Brew,
turboed the table.
the Iron Brew energy drink, mate.
Oh, I forgot to lift that, aye.
Here,
No, it's empty anyway. It's
Oh,
grand.
right.
I know,
Just
we'll try and see if Iron Brew will sponsor us, but obviously not.
can't see it happening. A couple of other big old skids I have. Philip Morrow sent me one of a combine cabin, but it's been converted into like a farming simulator, like.
Oh, right, yes.
So like you
yes.
step in to the door and it's just the you know the steering wheel and the TVs and all.
That would be fucking savage.
Unbelievable. That's like the stuff I dreamed of as a kid, like. So the next one was Jonathan Craft sent me a video. It's like it's like when you're trying to like hardball the salesman, and the next thing the salesman just walks in with like this hat, and it just shows the boy's face just lighting up and being like, it's just like it's like that's so true.
It's funny because I said this earlier. I don't know if I'll make the cut or not, but time I was at Denison's JCB outside Temple Patrick, and anyway went and got a part for our own 520 telehandler, and anyway I hadn't a fucking clue, and I just got handed the part, took it home, and was like, how the fuck do you not know that would be the wrong size? And I was like, well, here, I had no fucking idea. But anyway, so I took it back and got the right one, and then I got handed a hat, and I was like, oh, this is just lovely, you know.
It's just the best way of keeping someone quiet, isn't it?
You know, it's like, though over time things have got worse. For whenever we had the 54, you get given a kit bag with a polo top, a boiler suit, I think a body warmer, a coat and all that carry. Basically a full massy rig. Then the next tractor we got £100 voucher, I think it was. And then the one after that, we just got
A hat.
a body warmer, and the best of it all was
It didn't even fit.
No, well that's it. Like we got the. Well, let me think. We got the, what do you call it? The kit bag, but everything in the kit bag was extra large.
It's probably the standard size, to be fair.
And then whenever we got the body warmer, it was like fucking extra large too. And I could mind saying, look, you know, there's a lovely coat there at, you know, 70 quid in here, including, well, plus VAT. A nice soft shell. I was like, can I like trade the body warmer and like even have to put money towards it and get the coat? No. So then I was like, can I have a fucking size that I'll wear? Medium. And they were like, oh, well, I suppose we could do that, aye. It's like, why would...
No shit, Sherlock.
So,
Fuck me. Aye. You need to start.
but to be
bargaining a
fair
bit
now,
more.
it's like a shuffle style body warmer.
What does
so
that mean?
it's,
Goes low at the back.
No. Shuffle would be, you know, like the... Oh... I can't think of what fucking type of material it is, but it has the brown outlines. You know.
Oh, aye,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's a nice body warmer, so it probably costs £1 or £2.
Fair.
79,000 list price back in the day.
I wouldn't want to be paying it now. Probably.
But sure,
99,000 now.
Frosty paid, what was it, thousands for a hat and a lanyard, and then he got wheels and tyres free.
Yeah, he put a lot of money into a hat and a lanyard anyway.
No wonder he takes good care of it.
Fuck. You well believe
He
it.
set it down, he said, don't get dust on it.
Fuck's sake, Frosty.
And his lanyard is that clean, it looks like he put it through the washing machine.
Aye. Maybe has. Likely has. Likely set some. The same man likely set some valves. It probably has like a nice wee steam cleaner and all for it. And
Oh, most definitely, yes.
100%.
Guess the antibacterial wipes out for
Oh
us.
no, that'd be too. That wouldn't be enough. He has to have. I'd say there's probably some certain chemical he has to have for
the
it.
white in your hoodie is not as white as the Michelin on it.
No,
Definitely not.
Another big old skid is so I was out with Becca there on Saturday night. We were heading to see Sister Act, the musical. Fucking class, by the way. Do not diss me for going and seeing the musical. It was fucking incredible. Anyway, we got a taxi down into the
Here,
town.
I fucking love Mamma Mia.
Sister Act was incredible. But anyway, I got a taxi down and I was chatting to Becca then just about the day I had, and the taxi driver goes, "Here, mate, I didn't mean to like sound like I was eavesdropping, but you talking about cars?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, like what do you have?" And blah blah blah. I was telling him about the MX-5 and all this here, and then it turns out he's owned Lexuses and all this here. Like, he's a proper dairy boy. Like, if he's owned a Lexus, it's fucking half a dairy owns Lexuses. Like, and anyway, so then he got chatting and we were talking, and I managed to throw in the podcast there. So Paul, if you're listening, good man.
Well, did you have a good day, or are you flat out that night?
Oh, he was civil as fuck. Like, so we had a good old chat with him after. To be
Did
fair.
you ask him, was he busy?
No, because I actually like the critter, so I didn't want to do that to him. I have a couple of one-wheel pills as well.
Go for it.
First one-wheel pill is, right, you're seeing this a lot at the minute. Stop complaining about not getting in the Dubshed. Stop it.
Well, I haven't really seen it so much, but I can get where you're coming from.
I done it when I was younger too. Stop complaining, because the only thing you're doing is making yourself look like a dick. Right. Whenever I was younger, I would have sat and would
Did you get in the Dubshed?
no comment. But it's one of them things, right, where people are like, I've spent so much time and money in my car and I didn't even get in the Dubshed. It's like, yes, okay, you've maybe put coilovers in it and wheels, but my advice is actually go and look at the cars that got inside, and then when you start looking at the finer details, those are the reasons that sets maybe the car that's inside apart from yours. Now, I'm not slamming anybody who drives a nice daily, and here, with all shows, there's always some questionable choices of what gets inside. Some people lie in their application forms, for example. Seen that done, you know. Or there's cars that were outside one year and inside the next year. Fair enough. I've seen cars where I've went, don't know why that's there and why he's on the reserve list. But look, in general, if you didn't get in, like, yes, you may think your car is incredible. No taking away from that. If your car's your pride and joy, fair play, that's class. But just complaining just makes you look like a knob. If you really want to get in the Dubshed or any of them shows, either build your car to the level it takes, or if you can't, and smartly and rightly so, don't want to get yourself financially trapped, then don't. And just listen to our previous podcast and just go and drive your car instead.
That's very humble and very heartwarming advice there from you, Michael.
Speaking as someone who in the past didn't get into shows and went fucking mad.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's one show I didn't get into 2017 and got declined. Didn't even get offered outdoor, got declined. And then I got in through a trade stand, and then when they released their like cover, like their event, like the write-up of the event, my car was a cover photo. I just think at the time the organisers just seen Sierra and just went eh. Because at that time, 2017, Sierras were still kind of
personally, I have never entered a car for Dubshed, and pretty much reason being is like the Polo at the time, it was basically it was coilovers and wheels, and as bad as that sounds, the only reason I actually went into the show,
convoy on the way up,
partly that, yes, but also inevitably it's like anything, whenever you're at a show you're going there to have the crack with folk.
Yes,
right,
100%.
And also for me it was when I eventually get tired and I want to go and have a doze or sit down, I have somewhere to go and sit down and have a doze.
Correct. You can't do it inside.
No, well, it's like anything. Entering actually into the show outside was a method of having a seat, and a bit of peace.
Yeah,
I used to bring in the back seats pillows to have a doze.
Life hacks by Connor.
Well, that was the only reason. Like, I knew that whenever I went, you were going there, you were leaving the house about 8, and you weren't going to get. The show was on to 6. And
it used to be the 1 day event, and you used to have to try and be in early. Like, that was the thing about Dubshed. Even when it was a 2 day thing, you still were going up early, like.
So it was more like a. But then again, at the same time, I was very well aware in my own thoughts that at the time, whenever it wasn't so much Japanese cars were being done and all the other makes, because obviously Dubshed at King's Hall, it's a smaller venue, and whenever they went to the bigger venue, it's like anything they could open up, because there's only so many Volkswagen cars.
Yeah.
And if they want to keep...
And the
a
Volkswagen
certain-
scene has died.
Well, pretty much, yeah. But it's like, you know, the venue size, you obviously are going to need, at a bigger venue, more cars to fill the venue. Like, still, I just never bought... Well, with coilovers and wheels, I was like, look, when I walk into the show, and no disrespect to anybody, and seen certain things and money spent on it, I was like, I'm never going to do that. So
But yes.
I just subconsciously went, I wouldn't accept me, so there's no fucking point.
That's what I mean. There are people who, well, because they've went and bought themselves a nice fresh car and have put coilovers on it and a set of wheels, they've went, well, you know, that car is...
Now, don't get me wrong, there's still cars with coilovers get in.
100%, but it's like, you look at a Bora and the Bora's maybe had 12 grand spent on it, and you're like, yeah, that Bora's in, but my car cost 25,000. Why did I not get in? And it's like, yep, but you're missing the point. Like, that Bora's 12 grand of mods. You know, it's got maybe air, seats, like steering wheel, shaved bay, etc., you know, smooth, American bootlet, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's fine. That takes effort. That takes work.
Yeah.
You know, you can't compare. Just because your car's worth the same on paper, you can't compare.
To be fair, some of the times when I have seen stuff on coilovers and wheels as the predominant things that have been done to the car, it's pretty much been a case where it was something in coilovers but slammed to the point that you wondered how they drove it there. Like, there was one year there was a white 5 Series in,
and it was limo tinted,
and it was just decked.
Yes.
On a set of...
Was it 5 Series or 4 Series?
5 Series.
I was your fella from Armagh. That thing was class.
But it just... It
Big 20-inch Femens, wasn't it? And it was...
And they didn't even fill the arches hardly. It was sat so low because you needed 21s or 22s, like...
yeah, but he had the fitment.
I can't name the person's name, but it was
Adam Montgomery. That thing was decked. It was class. It was felty as fuck.
Yes.
It was Felt Plus.
Oh, Felt Plus.
It was like licking tar, set of Vemans, blacked out window. But brand new car, looked fucking class. But it had like the lip kit and everything done. It had a bit more, and it had a few, like, it was a full M Sport. It had a few more things done to it. Plus, when you're that low on coilovers, bravo, you deserve to be in. But I'm not trying to sound up my arse, it's just I was the person who once complained as well. Even whenever I had the 207 originally in hydraulics, and I went to like shows like the Players, and I didn't get accepted and stuff, and I was like, but I've got a 207 in hydraulics, there's nobody else has a car like mine. Like, I've spent money and I've got adapters and I'm running Alfred wheels and all like that there, and I'm doing things differently, and that was fine. But then you go inside and then you develop an understanding for like boys that have spent like 5 grand on split wheels, and boys that have spent thousands on shaving their engine bays. And I just was like, okay, when you actually see what's indoors and you actually start looking at the details, you no longer can compare your car, which is a nice car to drive, by the way, not running anything down. Like a slammed B8 on a set of Vemans and coilovers is fucking class, perfect daily, in my opinion. But, you know, it's not necessarily an out and out show car.
Well, there was one year I went to Dubshed, I think it was 2017 or 18, and I had minus money to my name. So I just drove down the Saturday, and I was missing some grills in the bottom of the bumper because I had hit some fucking form of an animal.
I think that was 2018.
And...
Was that the year I had my A4 down?
It was.
Yeah, 2018.
Parked out the front, and I was just like, you know, not a mission would this have ever got inside, and I wouldn't put it inside, but... I just drove down, and as like I said, it was, you know, I could go and have peace and quiet for.
I don't see. I just parked my car up and just left it, and I was happy as Larry. Like, it was good job. Like, stayed up in Belfast like that night. It was good old crack. Like, so yeah, like the other big old skate, not
like,
big old.
Like this year, again, I didn't enter, but at the same time, the way I look at things is, I have an EP3, but again, it just looks like every other EP3.
Yes, but you know that.
Yeah,
that's the difference. You've spent a lot of money in your car. There's no denying that. You've spent a lot of money in your car, like. But you know what you've spent in your car doesn't make it a show car. It makes it a fucking class car to drive.
Like, I probably will land down, possibly, if all works out on Saturday, park up outside.
Aye, and walk in and have the crack with the rest of us.
Aye, and then be happy enough.
Yeah.
And then go in and appreciate somebody that spent 20 grand, 30 grand.
On a Polo.
You know, on anything really. You know, regardless whether it's an S14, an R8, a Lambo, God knows what. And then whenever it comes to tea time, I'll go and sit in the back seats and have a snooze.
Or jump in the car and drive home to milk.
Well, hopefully I'll get that off, because obviously it's an event that runs to 6, and for insurance purposes, like I've found before, it's not fair to be asked to. You shouldn't be going to an event like that there and being like, oh, I have to. No, it was an emergency the time before I had to leave early, but like. Even at that, I was like, look, I'm aware that I'm not supposed to be leaving early and all that crack, but yeah.
I reload of some great stories, people talking about their washing machines having broken.
Like,
and it's like, how did you put your washing machine on if you were at the show?
Like, the only thing I would say, they have had live action at Dubshed before, haven't they?
Yeah, they had Gymkhana one year, they had drag racing one year. It must be insurance purposes. They do talk about trying to get something. I don't think they had anything last year.
For me personally, and for I'd say probably a lot of ones going to it, I know it's probably well overdone and all that, but it'd be some job if I can understand drag racing, yes, if it's, you know, if it's sponsored and bringing in like Munster or that, but even like you know, like a Diff arena and they have a wee ones landed out, like specifically for that, or like a live action arena, so that whenever you do, you know, eventually walk around all the cars, and you can only look at cars for so long before you do start to eventually the day takes longer to go through than you thought it would. Somewhere that you can go and watch something.
The Gymkhana was good. They had auto testing one year. They've had a few different things. Like, the ideal thing is that you would run a run around of ADC. That would be the dream, that you'd run around of ADC along with it, because they do have the space, but there's probably reasons behind that why they couldn't, but like,
I suppose drifting only caters to certain people. I suppose drag racing that year catered to certain folk. Autocross the same.
But if you think about it, if you say you bought tickets for the drifting and bought like your tickets maybe for the drifting will cover you for Dubshed, the reality is most of the people are going to buy tickets for Dubshed and then go to the drifting. But I don't know, maybe the drifting wouldn't make enough money out of it because people would predominantly be paying. Maybe people wouldn't be happy with the fact that if they were at Dubshed and they had to go watch the drifting, they'd have to pay extra money. I don't know. That would be ideal because it's a 2-day weekend. So you think Saturday and Sunday have the rookies on the Saturday, have the amateurs on Sunday and the pros, or amateurs on Saturday and pros on Sunday, yeah.
Like action starting around midday or that.
Yeah.
So that you have your time in the morning to go and view around the cars or that, and then you go and
like that's how you would do it. I think that's how you would do it. And you know, ever since we posted that TikTok about like the amateur drift series, I can't stop thinking about it. I would just love to do something like that. I don't have the time. I don't have the time or the money to do it myself, but I do think it would be doable. But it's just getting something like that on board. But anyway, that's a story for another day. My other one wheel peel is, and I spoke about it earlier, is camera phones. Whilst they're great, can fucking ruin your life. Right? So, I'm not saying that you should drive like a dick on roads. Right? Sometimes people get excited. Like,
adrenaline does wonderful things to people.
If you're literally going out there and standing videoing for hopes of your own YouTube channel and going like, oh, I need to get videos of boys leaving something sideways or whatever. Like, yes, the boys driving should know better. They're putting themselves at risk. At the very least, if you're going to stick videos of them online, blur the fucking plates.
Yes, because
you know, like,
has there not been instances where I don't know who it was and I don't know where it was, but I heard an instance, or not even heard, read, it was a comment under a video, and it was somebody got excited and tyre smoke was caused, and essentially somebody commented under it being like, you know, why not blur the plates? And the comment under that was, this is what ended up me getting 6 months, you know, banned, or like 6 points or something.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, if you can see it, everyone can see it.
That's the thing. And now there's been a law passed in the south that you can get your car seized by acts you've done online.
Oh, there you go then.
So that's the likes of Donegal and stuff. Now, being brutally honest, I don't think the guards, for the paperwork that's probably in it, I don't think the guards would be arsed if it's a one-off instance and there's maybe no damage or anything. But if for instance, it's for those videos where you catch someone driving down a road, maybe going in between traffic, doing stuff incredibly ropey, it's how you can nail boys like that. Or say someone's been acting the mangy and the police have tailed them out the road and they've got away from the cops, so the cops can say, right, we don't have proof, but we tailed this person, we know they've been dodgy, and here's videos of them wrecking earlier on the day, so we have enough proof, we know this person was driving carelessly or whatever, and it's enough to get your car seized. So yes, like, I'm all on for the next generation and all, but like, kids with the younger generation running about and getting your TikToks, you don't have your license yet, lads, a lot of yous. We appreciate what you're doing in terms of going and getting videos. Just remember that if you post someone leaving sideways or doing something a bit sketchy in Mexico and it goes online, they'll be held responsible. Not you taking the video, them. So do a favour and blur their plates.
You're effectively throwing petrol into the fire.
Yes. Because especially in the south now, with Rally of the Lakes, we're going to see a lot of this coming up. Donegal, we're going to see a lot of this coming up. You know, we're in the media age. People, this whole thing about people talking, like you hear boys talking about the shit they used to get up to years ago.
There's a reason, I suppose.
There's a reason why they got away with it for so long. Is boys met up, they had the crack. There was no phones, no videos, no Snapchats, no YouTubes, no TikToks.
See, to be fair, all the same, right? And I'm not against, obviously, it's like anything. You know, if some young fella is taking a video of me revving the car,
and same for me,
or you know, you fucking love it,
100%,
you know,
100%.
You can't help but be a fucking child whenever that you're in that circumstance. But sometimes as well, and I definitely do this more now, is just live in the moment, enjoy it.
Yeah,
you know, because I'll tell you the truth. I, for a couple of days after something, I'll say if King of the Cone, right, took pile of videos of it last year. I watched them once, and do you know something? Only the day I happened to be flicking through old photos on the phone and videos, and revisited videos, and went, oh yes, that was that person and that was that person. Other than that, like, I didn't look at them before.
Different for me and you, and different for King of the Cone, because we need that for media.
Well, I'm saying that because at the end of the day, like, I haven't been in place where I have said videos of Mexico driving or driving like bandits.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Will we finish off? Because it is now 1:30.
Yeah.
This is a long podcast.
This is going to be a
good podcast.
This has been a very long podcast.
Very long night.
So if you have made it this long,
this is a re-edit, by the way. I've had to get up and check some. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Michael has just broke the fourth wall again.
Yep.
Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. It's been a long one. Hopefully you have enjoyed all the tractor talk and Michael's shenanigans and my lack of shenanigans. Michael.
So if you want to follow the podcast on social, it's at Limited Slip Differences on absolutely everything. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook's the 3 platforms where we use the most. What's your own socials, Connor?
I'm Connor.Magoo on anything.
And I'm at MichaelScullen _ on Instagram and TikTok as well. Though to be honest, I don't really use the TikTok, and I don't even use Instagram as much as I used to, because I'm kind of trying to use the pod and push the pod more, and I've not an interest in really to post until I get my car out, because I want to do all the videos of the progress after. So,
because realistically, it's been a very dry few months in certain circumstances.
Just with so much going on with other things.
Yeah, and plus it's winter time, and we're coming into.
Well, I just think of the stuff I should have had done to my car. I just didn't, because it lay in here, like I should have had stuff done sooner, but I didn't want it in the way in the shed.
There's no point looking in the past.
No, I know. It is what it is. Also, because they didn't do a good job of explaining earlier, I'm going to cut this and do it for them. Follow Andrew Morton on his TikTok at AndrewMorton82, and follow Owen Smyth, aka Frosty, on his TikTok at OwenSmith8, because we asked them earlier and it was a lot of, fuck, what is my TikTok name? Even though Andrew has a massive following. Seriously,
it
big
was
following.
fucking worse than mine, to be honest with you. I completely forgot my own name, like, in the first one. So
Happens.
yeah.
It happens.
That's all, folks, for this time.
Take her easy.
We'll
All
see you in the
best.
next one. All being well. Good luck.
Good
hey.
luck.